Do you have a great idea for a podcast? Or maybe you already have a podcast, but you're getting overwhelmed with editing or production? Head over to EndeavorPodcastSolutions.com. They have everything you need, from intros and outros to editing work, voiceover, you name it. That's EndeavorPodcastSolutions.com. Podcasting simplified.
Life is a tricky thing, and navigating it successfully is even trickier. Most of us do all right. Some of us struggle, a few of us are wildly successful, and still a few more epically fail. No matter how well we do in life, we all have moments that leave a lasting impression. Some of us will be remembered for our unjustified hatred toward the recently deceased, or forgetting to mention their wife more often, or for being a trendy racist. Whether you suck at life, do well for yourself, or exist like most normal people, you will leave behind some sort of legacy, and people will remember you by telling your stories. What kind of stories they tell are entirely dependent on the decisions you make. This week, for example, I chose to come back on this show and subject myself to another night of ridicule and harassment. This episode will explore a few memorable stories from dummies in the news, a company looking to change their legacy a bit, try to figure out whose fault it really is, and answer the time-old question, why, Ray? So, Maestro, let's hit my damn music and get it.
All right, welcome back to Needless to Say. I'm here with one Portuguese princess, one fat Swede, and two eyesores from the Azores.
Were you referring to Craig's nose and Craig's neck?
Craig's nose, let me tell you.
You should have seen it the other day.
I've never seen someone's neck smile before.
Oh, the neck thing.
There was like a Stridex commercial, or was it Clearasil, back in like 1985. And it was like talking about all the different places on your face as zit could be. And then when the one on the tip of the nose, they did like the echo chamber, and it was the North Star. Yeah. If you look at Craig right now, he's not just drunk and he's not just happy to see you. He is sporting the biggest North Star I've ever seen.
It was insane. It just started right dead.
It's perfect.
It could not be any more on the tip of my nose.
No.
The worst part is it's going away. Yeah. You should have seen it the other day. It was fucking horrendous. It was like a fucking...
How did the other 10 reindeer feel about it?
That's
what I want to know.
Is that why you're growing in your beard?
Yeah. I was
I
hoping
didn't know
it
what
would just
that
cover my whole face. Like that Mexican kid in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh, that
The wolf
kid?
boy?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that kid.
I thought the beard was just nose hairs.
Close.
He just spackles it down with that nostril moisture he sports everywhere.
Yeah.
I love that wolf kid, though, because they're always like, he's got a normal girlfriend and shaves occasionally.
Yeah.
She loves him for who he is.
I'm sorry, if you're going to shave your fucking eyelids, that's fucking not working.
She loves him because his face gets Velcroed to her crotch, and she just throws pepper at him so he sneezes.
That's right, stay down there. I can't, I don't have a choice.
6 hours of free oral. And the kid was trying to just get
Anytime
up.
he gets up, he looks like a puppy getting out of the tub.
Every time he pulls away from her, it sounds like Stride Right shoes.
He's down there. It sounds like someone running with corduroy pants on.
All right, Dave, we're in Dave's house tonight.
Yes.
Studio D.
Yes.
Finally
Studio
christening
D.
Studio D. Now, I guess you can say you did it the one other time when you did the Game of Thrones episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was inside, right?
That was in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
it was in the kitchen, yeah.
That was in the kitchen.
That
That
was
was kind
fun.
of we kind of just threw that together last minute.
Yeah.
Dave, I got to tell you, you're making me nervous here. I thought I had like the Primo studio, but you know what? This is a great little location
It's
we got
all
right
right.
here.
It's all right. The
I
garage
like
is
it.
okay.
Yeah, getting some D.
I should... It's a little D, but we're smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not bad, man. Well, we're here. We have our friend Matt coming in, Ray's
Yep.
brother,
And we wanted to cut his commute in half rather than going to Studio B, which would be another half an hour for him.
Well,
Yeah.
it was as much a benefit for me because Matt would have to sleep over, and I can't subject my children to that.
No, don't.
I'm okay with that, Brad.
He brought his mics, though.
Yeah.
And who's that voice? It's a voice that's very familiar to Needless to Say fans. Rayanne, welcome back.
Thanks.
Good to have
Yeah,
you.
baby. Welcome
Glad to
back.
have you.
Yeah.
She's like, you're in my house, motherfuckers. I was sitting in.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
You didn't have
Just
a
because I
choice.
live here. Yeah.
Oh man, how was everybody's week?
Not bad, man. I gotta. I know I just jumped in, but
No, it's good.
it's Friday, Thursday night. College football started already.
Yep.
I'm so psyched that we've had a few nights of like the fall feeling weather too.
Yeah.
I'm ready for like fall beers, heavy food, football. I'm good to go, man.
Yep.
I'm ready to get into it. So yeah,
As
I'm all
opposed to
excited.
those salads you were pounding all summer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Right.
What are you laughing at, Matt?
Honey, where are the tofu
You
chips?
skinny motherfucker.
Where are the tofu chips? You're always hiding that shit.
In my own house, I'm getting picked on.
Yeah.
Tofu chips, and when he drops chips, I just say, "Hey, look, there's a tofu."
God damn it.
I agree with you. I wish I went to a better college football school, though.
Yeah, but you can at least appreciate college football season. You know what I mean?
Well, my team left the ACC to go play in the Big Ten, and which is a football conference. And
Yeah.
they thought that was automatically going to make them a football school, and nothing could be further
No, they
from
were
the
wrong.
truth. No, they're an embarrassment. They're a laughingstock. They're a doormat. But the tailgate parties are epic because we've always been a drinking town with a football problem, and that was always how we positioned. We had T-shirts made.
Well, your school's always been a big basketball school anyway in the ACC. So they
and women's lacrosse.
You know how? Oh,
you know
well,
that- you
well,
know-
shit.
Oh shit! Goddamn, women's lacrosse. Forget it. Drop everything.
Oh, yeah.
Let's fucking run down there and fucking cheer them on.
Oh, yeah, let's
What
get
are they-
that
What are they
tailgate
called?
going.
The Maryland Crabs.
No, it's much manlier. It's a turtle.
Yeah.
It's a North Atlantic diamondback terrapin. The thing will bite your fucking head off.
Unless they're playing football with it.
Yeah.
So as long as you can outrun a turtle, you're all right. Is that what you're saying?
You don't remember that fucking fairy tale?
Yeah.
The
you-
Fredericksburg
did you just
fucking
Quote
yeast
the tortoise and the
infections.
hare. Is that what
A
you?
little bit. A little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And Craig also just did his week in review. He's still a douche. Details at 11.
I thought that was his nose's week in review.
Yeah. That's all I've seen.
His nose has been stuck with his asshole all week.
Yeah.
Can't shake him.
I just hope he goes permanently cross-eyed looking at the zit on the tip of his nose, trying to investigate how many hairs have gone astray.
That'll help. Cross-eyed too.
So that was it, though. Fall beers, college football.
That's and I'll be honest. And I know Rayanne will jump in here, but the wedding that she's been stressing about for months finally happened last weekend,
Oh, God.
and it's over. There's no more of that shit. And there was, so I'll let her explain that. But at one point during the ceremony for this wedding, I was in the second row. Rayanne was in it, and the row in front of me was for the family, right?
Yeah.
So the mother of the bride sits in front of me, and her
Assholes
oldest-
in the back.
her assholes in the second row.
Yeah.
Her oldest son next to her, and next to him was his son, who was probably about 4 or 5, I think. He was one of
Yeah.
like the ring bearers. 3 minutes into the ceremony, this kid goes
Yeah. We all
loud,
did
like being
that.
dramatic loud, but he didn't mean it. And all I could think of was, I fucking hear you, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We couldn't have summed up this wedding any better. 4-year-old
We
yawning
all did
loudly.
that. Yeah.
No, so I'm glad that wedding is over because she's been stressed about it for months.
Yeah.
Told me that you were like, I'm like, what time are you leaving for the wedding? Because I was trying to schedule the fantasy football
Yeah.
thing. Like, what time are you leaving for the wedding? She's like, 6 a.m. I'm like, where is it? In fucking Canada? Yeah.
Yeah. I wish it was.
She
No.
left before any of the kids woke up.
Nobody was up. The sun wasn't even up yet. Like, it was,
The wedding was at 5 p.m.
Yep.
She left before
Yeah.
6.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a long fucking day.
Fucking 12 hours.
But was it a good wedding?
It was good. It was a good time once
And
it happened.
congratulations to the happy couple.
I mean, yes, exactly. Yes, congratulations to them. No,
Yeah.
it was a good time.
How was your week, Brad?
Well, it got better tonight because I found out Valerie Harper died.
You are the worst
What the
person
fuck is that?
ever.
Some of you who are older than Rayanne would remember the Hogan family growing up.
Yep.
That originally was a show called Valerie.
Valerie.
And then it became Valerie's Family because only the stupidest twat in the world could get into a contract negotiation and get out of a contract for a show that bore her name.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they made it the Valerie's Family, and then they said, you know what, that Valerie Harper, she's such a slunt that we're going to just take her name out of it entirely, and they became the Hogan Family.
Yep.
And that show ran for 7 fucking seasons without the benefit
And it was good.
of
It
Miss
was
fucking
funny.
Valerie Harper.
Yep.
So, you know what? She succumbed tonight to cancer. It's a sad deal for 2 or 3 Americans, and I would like to tip my cap. But the best exchange of the night was when Melissa told me this on the way here. Craig was at the liquor store getting the beer, and I'm sitting in there, and she goes, hey, Valerie Harper died. And I said, sweet, new material. And her response was, sadly, that was my first response. So that definitely capped off a week. That wasn't that great. I did a lot of work this week. I miss beer terribly. I hope to be back on beer soon, but my pancreas is thanking me, and you're all going to thank me for shutting up now. Let's hand it off to our other guest tonight, Mr. Matt.
What's up, dude?
Introduce yourself. We'll get to Craig's week in review eventually.
Yeah.
I give a shit about Zit Boy over here.
Right?
Okay. I'm Matt. I am related to some of these assholes.
Yep.
I guess.
You're related to most of them.
Most of these assholes.
Yep.
In fact, technically, you're only not related to Brad at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I've been here 13 years. I kind of think we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Kind
feel
of
like
are.
we're all just a little bit Portuguese.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Brad does hang out in his garage a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he hates his kids, too. He's almost there.
Yeah.
Not just mine. All.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you smiled when I told you my
Everybody
elder
talks
two
about
weren't
time
here.
travel. Like, I'd stop Hitler. I would kick myself in the dick right before I impregnated my wife.
Put that in a time capsule and save it for your child when she's old enough.
Happy 18th, honey. Listen to episode 104.
Yeah.
If time travel is true, won't be an issue.
Yeah.
No, Matt's my cousin. We've talked about Matt before on the show. We
have.
Due to talking about my Uncle Ray, which, if you've listened to the show before, you know who my Uncle Ray is. Because I've talked about him numerous times.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't help but
Cooler than
Yeah.
anyone here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's Matt and Rand's dad, so it's cool to have him on tonight. I'm excited about it because I've been wanting you to come on to the show, but you just had a baby,
On purpose.
on purpose. You're getting married.
almost.
If you need the time machine, call me.
Yeah. Matt was not the person that I would expect to be like, hey, check this out. Baby shark. Do, 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 do.
You know something? I was just gonna bust in with that too, and fucking
I remember
baby shark.
last year he was like, fuck all you fuckers. I'm the coolest guy here, you cocksuckers.
Yeah,
Now
now he's
he's
like,
singing
shut the
Baby
fuck up, my baby's sleeping. I'll fucking kill you.
Now I know every fucking dog on Paw Patrol. Yeah.
You know, it's the
Fucking the
Team
Bubble
Umi Zoomy
Guppies. Yeah.
theme song.
Oh yeah.
First time I met
Ooby-zooby.
Matt, he made fun of me for drinking these fucking seltzers, and now he knows 19 brands of formula.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
in a roundabout way, eat a dick, Matt.
But you also had something cool this week. You became a licensed, because you've been doing tree work for fucking forever.
Years.
For years. But you became a licensed Rhode Island licensed arborist.
Yes.
But we learned something new about because how many questions was that test?
Okay, so so it was the hardest fucking test I've ever done in my life. It was even though being told by every 70-year-old tree guy I know that it was 100 multiple choice questions and it was fucking easy, that it was actually now 240 questions about soil pHs and all kinds of shit you will never need to know when you're cutting down trees or anything. It was absolutely ridiculous.
So it was funny because I was right when you told me that, I laughed because I said I got my gun license in Rhode Island. It was 10 questions.
Number 8, do you know an arborist?
yeah.
You probably only need to get 3 of them right.
Yeah.
And they were all like, when cleaning the barrel, do you leave the rounds in it and look down the front? It was
Hey,
ridiculous.
yes, juggle 3 weapons at one fucking point.
It was insane. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this test was absolutely ridiculous in some of the questions that were there. It was, I mean, asking like when you're on a fucking construction site, what grade of soil should I do to prevent further damage to a tree that has been half taken down? It was like, it was just complete
Fucking
nonsense.
chop it at the fucking stump.
Yeah,
So you take
it
care of
was
it.
complete
That fucking thing out of there.
nonsense.
Fuck trees.
Yeah.
That stupid oxygen.
Instead of having a none of the above, every question just had use matches.
Yeah. I mean, it really was. It was ridiculous.
I know he's got gasoline in his back seat.
I knew you were going to mention that at some point. My car always stinks like gas.
Always.
Do you strap it into the car seat right next to the baby?
Yeah. No, I try and be a professional parent and put it in the trunk. Yeah.
We're talking about the gasoline, right? Not the baby?
Yeah.
This old guy, he pulls up to the house. He's got a butt hanging out of his mouth. He pulls up. He's like, hey, what's up? I walk up to the car, I lean in. I'm like, oh my God, Matt. like, you know when you see it almost look like heat waves coming out of the window? Those were gas fumes. He's got a butt hanging out of his mouth. He's like, hey, what's up? The worst part, I'm like, all right, where are we going?
I know it.
Like, fuck it. All right, let's go.
It's no problem. We got the top down.
Yeah.
I'll drive fast. We're going to get draft.
Yeah, we're going to be all right. I promise you. This isn't even the most dangerous part of this fucking mission right now.
Let's go pick up Brad's kids.
Yeah.
We'll just be shoving them out the door.
Oh, shit.
God,
Young
that's,
Buick with a trail of flames behind it. Going 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a
shit.
cool accomplishment, though.
No, it is.
Proud
That's
of you,
cool,
Matt.
man. That's awesome. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with that now?
The same thing that I've been doing.
Yeah.
So what was your incentive to do it, to get that designation?
A raise.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I got a raise.
Well, you're a foreman. You've been a foreman for the longest time, so it's.
But now I am a lead foreman.
Ah.
I do nothing different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
I
make
do
more money.
Absolutely nothing different, but I make more money. It's
Yeah.
just a justification for you to make more money.
To make more
Nice.
money.
Yeah.
Fuck,
That's
take
cool,
that,
but I
man.
gotta ask. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but it comes naturally. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
He doesn't have to
No,
try.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And you didn't have to agree, but
We all knew.
doesn't foreman mean lead? Isn't that like inherent right in the name?
No, it does. Well, so my boss is actually called general foreman. So then you have that, and then there's all kinds of
Is there
steps.
like an admiral foreman we need to know about?
Eventually, yeah, there could be.
A Darth foreman?
Yeah, I am. That's what I'm working on now. Actually,
Well, that's a 100-question test, so get on that. Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean,
Darth Foreman.
the funny thing,
That's the Death Star is closed on Sundays.
as a,
Covered in foliage.
I'm going to give a testament to Matt's skill as a tree worker right now,
No. Call him by his title.
and as a
Lead
lead
foreman.
foreman,
Lead foreman.
sir.
as a Rhode Island licensed arborist, right? There was a hurricane coming.
Oh, he was just a plebe when this happened.
And
He was nobody then.
but I called Matt.
I didn't want to tell you, but I had no idea what I was doing at that point. I could have used that $100. Yeah, I did
He
a lot
took
of
that
drugs
chainsaw
back
out of the
No,
box
it's
in the
funny.
parking lot.
No, it's funny though. Is he needed the $100 so bad that I'm like, hey Matt, there's a hurricane coming. He's like, yeah, I know, it already started. He's like, I'm like, this tree's gonna fall on my house. I'll be right there. Now it's fucking started. It's windy as a fuck and torrentially fucking raining. And Matt comes to my house and climbs. That thing was about good 60 feet, 70 feet high.
Yep,
Matt-
about 10 feet from the house.
about 10 feet from the house.
Yeah.
And Matt climbs, fucking straps up, fucking climbs up this thing. It's torrentially pouring. And he's just yelling, look out, shit's falling. I'm just grabbing shit and clearing it out of the way. We're fucking soaked. Chainsaw's going. Wind is whipping.
What'd you do? Throw $50 up in the tree so we could go up and get half of it?
But
I'm going inside now.
at one point, there was this massive fucking branch. And my yard, and we've talked about it before, there's a cemetery in the back of my house, between the back of my house and the stone wall. It's probably only about 10 feet, and it's a historical cemetery. And then my pool was right there, and this huge, gigantic fucking branch was hanging over, and I'm like, Matt, whatever you do, I don't give a fuck about the pool. If it hits the pool, it hits the pool. Just don't drop this thing into the cemetery because I ain't fucking paying for it. I'm like, if it hits the pool, don't worry about
I mean,
it.
the
So
pool's
he's-
gonna explode in a few years anyway.
Getting that green light felt good.
Yeah. And he's like, all right. He's like, all right. But he's like, I think I got this. And I mean, the wind's whipping. It's fucking pouring. And he's just looking at the branch, making little cuts here, little cuts there. And then finally he cuts it. And that fucking thing dropped perfectly between the fence and the pool to a point where the second it hit the ground, he just goes, woo! Like it throws his arms in the air. He's like, yeah! And I was fucking psyched. And you chop that thing down to a fucking stump.
Well, for the viewers that have never had a drug abuse problem,
Yeah.
there's not much that you won't do when someone comes calling with $100.
Yeah, I
gotta
got
tell
a
ya.
hurricane, baby.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
It was fucking
You give me
whipping.
$200, I'll sleep up there for the whole storm.
He
yeah.
did that for us too. Remember he
Oh
climbed
my
that?
God.
How high is our tree?
Well, on top of the hill, it's going to be about 7,000 feet above sea level, right, Craig?
Oh, at least. And the wind was whipping that day
this
too.
motherfucker climbs up the tree in the backyard.
With nothing but spikes.
Yeah.
There's just
like,
like,
"No, I
spikes
got-"
on his boots like a monkey.
He drops like 3 or 4 branches and stops, and I look up at him, and he looked like he had just won like the 100-yard dash in the Olympics. He was like posing, like one leg up on another branch, just looking out in the horizon, like he just fucking won something.
While I'm on the ground like Aunt Lori crying. Because I'm like, he's gonna fall and he's
I'm like, hey, nice job. It was just an oak branch. Get down.
No one got killed. No one got hurt. It was success.
And what was
Mission
funny is
success.
like we paid him for it, and like 2 weeks later I was talking to Ray, and she's like, yeah, my brother's like, yeah, that's like a $300 job. I'm like, I gave him $20 and a sandwich. Yeah, I felt bad.
he didn't do it for you.
I felt like such a dick. But I asked him to come back the next summer to do more.
Yeah.
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 So Craig, how was your week? We've talked about everybody else. Our week, your nose is weak. How was your week?
No, it wasn't bad. I was actually excited. Had a good time. Started on Sunday at the Kinsman. Had a great meal over there. That lobster dinner. Brad was there.
Thanks for the invite.
My wife and my in-laws were there.
We're all set. Thanks.
We don't even like lobsters, all right.
And so that was awesome. And then the best thing ever was when I woke up Monday morning and opened the front door and was like, oh, fuck. It's not 1,000 fucking degrees out. And it's dry. Like,
Yeah.
My balls are not stuck to anything.
yeah. I was fired up. I was like, this is, and it was like that all week. Today was the first day it started to get muggy again.
Yeah.
And
But
heat
it
back
wasn't
up.
oppressive muggy.
No.
You could
No.
feel it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, it was noticeable, but not bad.
So
Yeah.
so I was psyched. So I loved that, and and that was all great. The only thing was funny is I was complaining about scheduling shit for work. Remember last week?
Oh,
I was
you
saying
got double
how-
booked last week?
and I got
Yeah,
double
yeah.
booked again this week. But beyond that, I'm dealing with all this scheduling shit at work forever, and then I'm like, all right, because I run a fantasy football league that we're all in,
Yeah.
and
That I won last
yeah,
year.
you did win.
Just letting
Yep.
everyone know.
And so
it's already
I'm
started.
trying to schedule it. Now we have 3 people that work nights,
Yep.
and so it's
Talking like
so
4 to 12ish, like that kind of night.
Yeah, so it's like I couldn't schedule a thing. So I'm like, Labor Day, perfect. But the 3 people that work nights also work the medical field, which does not give a fuck about
there's no
Labor
holidays.
Day.
Yeah.
You know?
Does not give a fuck about your fantasy league.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it was fucked up. I couldn't get. It was just a scheduling fucking nightmare.
So what's the lesson here? You need more white collar friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, it worked out. My sister actually I wouldn't say sacrifice. She was like, I'll leave work an hour early on Monday. She's like, I'll get out an hour early so we can get the draft in before other people have to go to work. And it's great because she works at a place that's all about sports. So she's like, I'll just tell them it's my fantasy league. They'll get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, perfect.
Ethel can go without her perm
Yeah,
for fucking
yeah, exactly.
one fucking day so I can go draft fucking Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. 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 So it's scheduled. It's done. And it'll get on.
All right.
But that was it.
Well,
Nice.
you're talking about football drafts.
Yeah.
All right. So Dave had an idea. And
I think this was Craig's idea, right?
It was your
And
idea.
we kind of
you
bounced it
fucking-
around.
I-
Anyway,
do you
Probably
smoke
wasn't a
pot?
good idea.
I wish I could handle it.
You really should.
He does this all the time. It was Craig's idea. I'm like, no, it was yours. You
Yeah.
fucking-
You would think he does some drugs. No.
bring us
You would
in,
think
Dave.
that.
So it's football season. Craig's been talking about the fantasy league. Pretty much everybody here is in the league except for me. It's just not my thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all in it except for you.
But I thought it would be fun if we all had our own life draft.
Yep.
So we all draft people in our real lives that we'd want to be on our life team forever.
Forever.
So I thought that'd be kind of a fun
That's cool.
thing for us to get into.
Yeah.
The life draft.
And you didn't open this up to our guest, did you?
oh my god!
Sorry about that.
Oops.
I'm sorry, that was the best phone ring ever.
Nah.
I don't even care if we don't cut that out.
Yeah, I know.
That's my lady's ringtone.
Is that is that a lead foreman thing?
Yeah. English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
That's amazing. Say what? One more time.
Brain on Brad.
So what I was saying though,
I
did they get a chance to get in on this?
I shared the idea with Rayanne earlier in the week because, like always, she's always asking about what are you guys doing this week on the outline. So I kind of let her in a little bit.
Yeah.
Matt, I talked to earlier today when he showed up. He showed up a few hours early. So
Yeah.
I kind of gave him an idea. So I think they've had a little time to think about it, and I think we can have a little fun with this.
I agree. I think this is a good idea. The thing is, it's like a real draft. If somebody's name comes off the board,
They're gone,
they're gone.
and these are people that are still. Yeah. If they're taken, they're off. They're gone.
Okay, fair enough. Craig, it's your show.
Yeah.
And according to Dave, this was your idea. So
Well,
go ahead.
no, I think it was Dave's idea. I think Dave goes first. Dave leads off the draft.
Now
All
wait
right,
a minute.
So
Does-
we're gonna pick 3 people.
Three?
Well,
do they have to be real? Can they be movie
Yeah,
characters? Or-
Pick
I don't
anybody,
think we should
right?
have too many hard rules.
We're
No, there's
making
no
a
hard
fake
rules.
life draft
I mean,
on a
just
show
making
nobody
sure.
listen to.
I'm new to the game.
We don't wanna break the
if you
rules.
say like Papa Smurf, I might bust your balls a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
but
Okay.
I'm
All right.
just,
He's
you know.
third. Okay. I like that. I like where this is going.
All right. So if I'm gonna lead off, is that what we decided here?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the first person I would draft into my life would be Jim Koch, the founder of Sam Adams Beer.
Okay. I like him. He's a good guy.
There you
Good
go.
businessman, always gonna have good beer around. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm good to go.
Yep.
He's my number one.
You know he
There you
pronounces it Cook, right?
Cook. I don't care how he pronounces it, as long as he brews the way
did
he
you
does.
say
I'm good.
cock?
Yeah. Koch.
Yes. Jim
Koch.
Cock.
Cook. Either
Isn't
way,
it Koch?
either way, I'm happy.
It's German.
I'm going to
It's
go with
pronounced
Brad on
cock.
this one.
That's whatever.
You should concede to Brad. I got livery wrong.
I
but
always
that's it.
concede.
All right, so
Brad.
apparently I'm taking a
No,
rich
it is
cock.
Cook. The commercials, he says it. Jim Cook. Yeah. Fucking says his
Jim
own
Cook.
name.
Oh yeah, so Jim Cook,
Yeah.
I'll take him.
Oh, yeah. He's
Whatever.
Yep. All right.
Cook, cock, I'm happy.
So the beer guy.
The beer guy.
Seems like a good guy.
Cooking cock and beer.
So let's go counterclockwise. Give our friends here a few
Okay.
seconds to catch up. So Brad, we'll go to you next.
All right. Well, I was thinking kind of in a football context. So for my entire defensive line, I draft Dave.
That's unfortunate.
I hate fat
The
jokes.
Plaid Warriors.
Yeah.
Tartan of Doom.
Soundbite from Al Borland.
Yeah. They've gone to plaid. All right, I'm off the board.
All right.
All right, Craig, who's your first pick?
My first pick would be Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Because
all
no
right.
matter where I was, he wouldn't want it to be shitty and nasty.
So he'd be kicking you out of every place he went.
No,
Yeah.
he's got to be with me, right? He's
Yeah,
on my
all right.
team. I'm the leader of the team, so we're staying in the fucking suite.
That's
Yeah.
That's
Let's
no.
stay in the
This
penthouse.
is about you being walking and be like, "Fuck you, nerd."
Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't go with Goebbels there, the head of the SS. That's a shocker.
Fucking draft me an over.
He still got you 1 picks.
Feels like he can get him in the second round, I guess.
I'm feeling he might be floating around still later.
Well, he slipped because of that whole Nazi.
He dropped a few spots when he went to Brazil.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, Matt, you got anyone that you want to draft onto your life league?
While you're thinking, could you imagine how awkward an elevator ride between Craig and Bill Gates would be?
It would be
And
awkward
Goebbels.
as fucking all. I would love it.
Yeah.
It might be awkward for him.
Yeah.
I'd be totally 100% comfortable.
all 15 floors. Hey, do you know George Lucas? Yeah.
He would definitely have security escort you off the premises.
I would watch Bill Gates come in. I have a Windows phone that has an app for that zit.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like,
Fucking laser beam that
He's
thing.
gotta be on my team, right? He's with me all the time, so I know nothing will ever be shitty.
Yeah.
Sparing no expense.
The selfie cam is all blacked out.
I guess I would probably take Wooderson from Dazed and Confused.
Wooderson?
Yeah.
Really?
Why?
Yeah, I don't something I just feel like hanging out with that guy
Would be
for
great.
life would be pretty cool. We'd get to go see Aerosmith.
Yeah.
And you know what
Yeah.
I guess it just it wouldn't be a care in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I guess so.
All right.
It could be cool.
Yeah.
You'd
All
be a
right.
lot cooler if you did.
Yeah.
You know what sucks? I had McConaughey third on my draft. He's off the
You
board.
can't take him now. He's
He's
Yeah.
off the board. I gotta think of someone
Oh,
else.
no, you got to take like romantic comedy Matthew McConaughey. That's a
Yeah,
whole
you
different
could
animal.
fucking have him.
No.
You get to roll in the booger in the Lincoln Continental, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
It's like Dave during sex. Failure to launch.
Yeah,
Yeah, we went there.
pretty
I was
much.
really hoping Rayanne would disagree.
I was gonna say,
No, I didn't.
Brad's wife during sex, Sahara.
Arid.
Arid.
She's not here to defend herself. Let's make fun of
That's
Mike.
your job.
Poor Melissa.
Oh, shit. Rayanne.
All right, Rand, who's your first
Oh,
pick?
God. I don't know. This is hard. I guess I'd have to go with Betty White.
Right?
I mean, she's like 184. I mean, she knows the secret to
She knows
life
the
here.
secrets.
I mean, she knows the secret to living.
Who needs
Yep.
sliced bread? I got Betty White.
I got Betty White. I'll live forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she just contracted mumps too.
She is a mump.
Anti-vaxxers. Fuck them.
Oh, shit.
Jesus.
She was alive when vaccinations were like those wacky kids.
Yeah. Liberals.
Vaccinations to her were flat earthers to us.
Yeah. Imagine the Earth was flat. Craig, the amount of shit you would
God,
eat.
Craig
God,
loves
I
those
would
guys.
just eat shit.
He loves the flat earthers.
I would just hang myself like fucking. Oh my god!
Off the corner of the earth.
Oh yeah,
Off the edge.
I would just jump off the edge.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Yep, fuck it. It's over. I've been giving these guys way too much shit. I'm an idiot. Gone. Yeah.
Just land on the pile of bodies on Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm in the back of a turtle. Staring at these giant pillars.
At Brad's
looking like
college.
a-
That's right. Biting other people's heads off. Yeah.
Playing for the Fredericksburg yeast infection.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If there was ever a spot to put in the NFL music right about now. Ba-dum, ba-da-da. All right, Dave, we're entering the second round.
Round 2, I would have to go with Ozzy.
Ozzy.
Same logic as Betty White. Like, that motherfucker's lived through everything you could possibly live through, and if anyone can help me through shit, Ozzy
yeah.
can do it.
Oh,
The amount of
seriously,
people
man.
in your house shitting themselves right now.
is at a peak.
It's a good thing you live on a hill.
The worst thing is about 2 years, it's only going to drop 50%.
Diaper costs are still going to be the same.
I mean, just by default, you move Betty to the top for maximum rollage. That shit picks up speed, smacks into your kitchen window.
Oh, shit.
Hell of a pick.
Yeah.
For my second round, we got to eat, so I'm drafting Anthony Bourdain. Wait. He's been declared ineligible for this week. All right. I guess I got to pass.
What? You can't pass.
All right, then I'll draft an offensive line, and for offensive lines, I think of Landfill Charlie.
Oh, all right.
Ah, nice.
If you want to
Nice.
totally discuss the other team,
Yep.
perfect.
That's it.
Sounds
All
like I
right.
want to meet Landfill Charlie.
Not after the last video we saw.
I've seen a couple of them. They're
No.
pretty bad.
Nothing like this.
I'm gonna have to
I
see
grew
it
up,
later.
I probably 180 yards.
How do we know Landfill Charlie, by the
I
way?
went to high school with Landfill.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
He's
grew
Brad's
up
friend.
about 180 yards from this kid, and yet same planet, different worlds.
Yep.
Okay, the things happened in his house, and I'm not sure what happened, but the things he sends us, good God, Magnum.
I've seen a couple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last video he sent reminded me of lag bolting my deck to the house, and it had nothing to do with construction.
No.
I'll have to
But
check
that
this
scream,
out.
though, that scream was epic.
But so it was ironic that you named the Flat Earthers because my next pick is Neil deGrasse Tyson, and it was
all right.
all so that I could just go around annihilating these motherfuckers. And anytime they try to stump me, I'd be like, "What? Tell me what to say. Tell me what to say."
What do you like, the 5'2" rapper who talks shit about everybody else and brings his bodyguard with him? the whole
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Is that Bagel Boss?
He's got like a big brain behind
Yeah,
him.
exactly.
You're a fucking dummy.
You're
no,
a
seriously,
dummy.
he's going to
Yeah.
tell you what.
Bill, throw fucking couple hundreds at that motherfucker.
You know something? That's funny because I was gonna go with Floyd Mayweather in the next pick with his bodyguards as well.
Yep. Really?
Yeah.
There you go. That's your pick, Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Nice.
For
I
his
like it.
fighting or for his money?
For his
No,
bodyguards.
for his bodyguards.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Neither.
And his bag of money. He's gonna be with you, right?
Oh yeah.
So if you're at the strip club,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a dance.
Yeah. 30 million in ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Sounds pretty good.
Douche nozzle that guy is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rayanne.
he really sucks.
Oh, if I had to go with a defense, I think I'm going to go with Uncle Mike.
Uncle Mike.
Oh.
Because I'm
That's a
perfect
good
in his
pick.
eyes.
You are.
And he'll kill all you motherfuckers here.
Yep.
That's
you
pretty
are.
much an offense, too.
Yep.
Yeah. I should have just picked him for all three picks.
Uncle
Yeah.
Mike is Iron Man football.
That really is a good pick, though.
It is a good pick because it's so true. You said you're perfect in his eyes, and it's
Yeah.
great because when we all went up there the last time we went up there, now Uncle Mike, this is family. This is my
Yeah.
uncle, Rayanne's uncle, Matt's uncle, and when we went, she was catered to like a motherfucker,
My whole life.
right? And me and Matt cut down like 4 trees.
Yeah. And then slept on the ground outside.
Slept on the ground
It's
outside.
so funny because before we went there, he gave me like 5 options of where to sleep, and he's like, Craig can sleep wherever it's not good enough for you.
That's a quote. That's a quote.
Yeah. Fuck Craig.
Yep.
Ran, honey, where do you want to sleep? And she would tell him, he'd be like, Craig, the cliff is over there 100 yards to the woods.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Start walking.
Oh, is that Craig getting attacked by bears? Oh, let me go make sure Rand's okay.
Yeah. I know.
At least they're not near Ray. It's all right.
That's fine. He'll be okay.
Like, hey, Uncle Mo, is that good now? While you were going to get fucking donuts.
Yeah.
Me and Craig cut down like 18 fucking trees.
Yeah.
He's like, let me go check on Rayanne, see if she's up yet.
See if she's up yet. Shh. Those guys are making too much noise
Yeah.
with that chainsaw.
Why would you guys cut down those trees this early?
This early while she's sleeping. I know I told you to.
Yeah. You fucking pieces of shit.
Oh, whatever.
Use your
Don't
head.
be mad. I'm his favorite. We always have been. Oh, Uncle Mike. The only one
was a
worthy
good
of his
time,
love.
All right. Dave, third round.
Dun-dun, dun-dun.
I know, I'm on the clock because McConaughey came off the board. So he was my last pick because I was like, if there's anyone to have you like just be chilled out and have a good time, it's gonna be that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm torn right now. There's two people I'm thinking of. I'm debating between Keanu Reeves, who's very similar,
That's a good pick.
like similar to like just chilled
No,
out.
don't use
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
All right, I won't use Keanu
Thank
Reeves
you.
because I'm afraid of Uncle Mike.
Collusion. Yeah. No discussing your picks.
All right.
Portuguese collusion.
Here's the other one.
He's
And
not Portuguese.
I'm gonna get shit for this, but I'm gonna go with Gina Carano, former UFC fighter and actress,
Really?
because she's a badass. She can fight and protect
She
me
is.
when I
Let's slow up on the whole act.
wait. When I mouth off, I need someone to be able to kick some ass, and I can't do it for myself.
You married that person.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
fucked
I'm
up
already
now.
in trouble.
You fucked up.
Matt knew it. Done.
Immediately.
See, I think anybody who's married at this table, which is all of us, if you're not drafting your wife or husband by the third round, you're a piece of shit.
Yep. No.
Oh, Dave
And you're
wasn't even
sleeping
on my
the
list.
fucking couch
See?
tonight.
He,
I'm not
he
even
wasn't
on her
even in
list.
10th
See,
place.
no.
The funny thing was I said to Brad, we're going to let Dave pick first.
It was bad enough.
And let
his
him dig
favorite
his own
vacation was
grave.
without
Because he's
me.
not going to pick his wife.
No, no.
I am.
Of course he's not. I couldn't have even been the third round pick, huh?
I was like, he's not even going to take her in the third round. The last pick. No, he took
The
a
last
woman,
pick.
He
When
took
you
a
take the
woman
kicker.
UFC fighter. Yeah.
I would have
You
taken
would
her
normally
too.
take your fucking kicker.
Yeah.
You asshole.
You piece of shit.
What a piece of
You got
garbage.
some fucking nerve.
Uncle Mike is already on his way.
It was so funny. What did I say to you in the middle of the week?
We're
I
gonna
s-
let, we're gonna let Dave.
We're going to
pick
let
first.
Dave pick first because he ain't going to pick his wife.
Nope.
Just like his favorite vacation.
I was waiting that episode, all happy, like, oh, that time I went to Puerto Rico by myself.
By myself.
You fucking piece of shit.
If you could see the sweat streaming down Dave's forehead right now.
It's like double
Knowing the
what we're used to.
trouble.
Yeah.
I hate this show.
It's an official episode now because Dave made that weird squeaky hemorrhoid voice.
So all you motherfuckers gonna pick Melissa, Fran,
No,
Kia.
no.
Yeah.
No. It's not like that. It's not like
Sons
that.
of bitches.
The
No, we don't
draft
have to
picks
do that.
3 through 10. I am picking Melissa in the form of Rachel McAdams. Go. Just kidding. Just kidding. Unlock the door.
Third round, I'm going to take my cousin Rayanne because she's still on the board. And she's fucking awesome.
Thanks, Craig. That's because Uncle Mike was already calling you, wasn't it? One of you bitches better
I'd be
pick
like,
her.
look, Uncle Mike, look what I did.
You know what's
it still
sucks for
won't
me?
be good
She's
enough.
hanging out with me, Bill Gates, and Neil deGrasse Tyson right now.
And he's holding a bear carcass.
You know what else sucks? Is Fran's at home like, thank God he didn't pick me.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
Fran's not mad at all.
This is my
She's
way
like, I'm
out.
free agent.
Yeah.
Like,
In the third round, I'll take Fran. Team Cabral selects.
Oh my God.
No, but seriously, I am going to take my wife Kia, or else I'll get prison shanked when I get home, Oz style.
Was that
probably
a black
raped.
joke? Was that a black joke? Was that what you
It
just
was.
did?
For the audience, she's black.
She probably won't listen. It's okay.
I'm sorry, but if Kia and Shank didn't give it away,
It's actually Takia.
Takia.
Yeah.
I call her Kia because I'm usually running in fear. No, I'm just kidding. She's fucking awesome. I'm kidding.
Man, I actually would have taken Kia too. I would have taken her in a
Kia
minute.
rocks. She's
Yeah,
awesome,
she does.
All I
Yeah,
could
she is.
picture is Oz, like Elliot Stabler, on there, like raping some dude when I get home if I didn't pick her.
Like you're a Stabler and she's at a BC.
Yeah.
She's definitely out of BC all day.
Yeah.
Who's also the cock merchant, by the way.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, I love out of BC. Yeah.
Yep. Take him to the car.
How often are you out of BC in this? You're not.
You're not at
just
all.
never.
She
the
is
other
always out of
Never.
BC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's at a BC when he's alone.
She even wears the little hat.
and his hand is that little
who's
hat.
ever the guy that's bent over.
Yeah.
Whoever that fucking guy is.
Are you out of BC when you're jerking off? You're just talking shit to your own dick.
Stop trying to take my only satisfaction away.
There was one of my favorite scenes. One of my favorite scenes in Oz was when he sticks his dick through the fucking, and when he's mopping the floor in the women's section of the prison, and he sticks his dick through the cell fucking thing, and he tells the girl, he's like, suck it. And she's like, what? I wouldn't suck your dick if you was Portuguese.
Oh, the
It
chick
sounds
was on
like
death
every
row, that's
episode.
right.
It's funny, that was one of my favorite scenes too.
I almost died.
It made you feel good, though,
It did
didn't it?
make me feel good.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. She had taken that gigantic sausage.
Yeah.
Even if it was
That fucking Portuguese chorizo.
My God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Last pick in the draft that I've apparently failed.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, you did definitely fail.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm between two.
Who's left?
I'm between, if I'm being a little corny, my dad,
Okay.
because that guy could fix fucking anything with a bungee cord.
Yep.
Or Fran,
Yeah.
because Fran is hard as fuck. And I wouldn't mess with fucking Fran.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be making jokes
She
with
was
Fran.
already claimed on waivers by the Eagles.
Yeah. Fran would be drafted on the Rams, let's be honest. Yeah, like,
Yep.
Yeah, she's like a member of fucking Bounty Gate, injuring people for pay, for bonuses.
I was going to draft her, but he already took Floyd Mayweather's bodyguards in the second round.
Yeah.
You're going to fucking need those.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't believe you took Bill Gates ahead of the one person in America better with money.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-proclaimed.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Nah, babe, I'll pick you up on waivers.
Week 15.
Oh, shit.
I can't
Waivers.
make the joke. I'm not-
Don't you make a joke to Fran.
Don't be that scared.
You said that like she's hiding in the bushes right outside. Yeah.
I'm just thinking. Craig
She'll
would,
hear it.
Craig would see a headline going, "Friend went down in week 11," and Craig would jump immediately. I'm sorry. Come over for burgers tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
man.
Oh shit.
So last week was a mess.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's it. I'm just.
Oh, the end.
Just
Yeah, the
stating
end.
obvious.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I didn't have a transition. You did. So
Oh no,
go
I
ahead.
I had one until you guys all pointed out that I'm bad to my wife.
Yeah.
That was already pointed out a few episodes ago.
Oh yeah.
And your kids.
Yeah.
Don't forget the children. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we had a whole social media campaign about this.
Yeah. Don't forget the children.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah.
We posted it on I Never See My Dad's Facebook.
Oh shit. Oh, I'm so glad you're on this fucking show.
I hate you. All of you. Maybe you're cool.
No, it's too late now, honey. It's too late.
All right, well then fuck you. You're part of them.
Yeah.
You all share blood.
Whose fault is it
Screw,
really?
it's mine.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
On the off chance Uncle Mike gets Wi-Fi for 6 minutes.
Uncle Mike will listen to this.
You're in trouble.
Satellite just gets a little closer to Earth.
For those 3 minutes every winter solstice when the satellite's that close. He picks it up on his ham radio.
He'll kill you.
Yeah. He's probably hiding in the bushes too.
Yeah.
Him and Fran are fighting
He's
for
sitting
who
there
goes
with Fran.
first.
He commuted.
Yeah.
Already.
Oh my god.
He's just waiting for it to snow down here so we can get here in a snowmobile.
I don't need highways.
Yeah.
So I could sled team will be down here in an hour.
Sled team.
The fucking Iditarod.
I hope he listens.
I can see Uncle Mike wrangling a pack of wild wolves just to sled down here.
With a mini 14.
Yeah.
Fucking strapped on the side.
God. No,
man.
I was just thinking we spent a little time joking about who we pick into our lives, and for whatever reason, we pick those people because they would be some kind of positive influence on our lives.
Yeah.
And something came up this week about someone who was supposed to be a friend to another person.
They are friends.
They are now.
Yeah.
They weren't for a little bit, and they were before because she kind of fucked up.
She did.
So we're talking about this news anchor. She made this here's the headline that we came up with. TV anchor makes tearful apology after comparing black colleague to gorilla.
Yep.
All right, let's let that sink in for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, if the shoe fits.
Right, this isn't from Sanford and Sons from 35 years ago. Yeah. This was this week.
Yeah.
So this was a cracker bleach blonde white anchor
Wicked
woman.
bad.
She did
On a morning show.
On a morning show.
This isn't hard news.
No.
More fucking plastic surgery than you could shake a stick at.
Yeah.
She looked like a fucking Barbie doll.
Yeah, when she was sad, she was still smiling. Yeah, she's one of those people. But they did a story about a gorilla, and she made a comment that the gorilla kind of looked like her co-host, who there was probably no malintent there. Like they probably had similar features, right?
That was
but no. What I'm saying is,
slow down, Dave.
no. Listen, we've all looked at animals and be like, oh, that looks like so and so. But there have been too many historical references,
Yes.
and too much racist background for this to be okay.
See, I'm gonna defend her on this because there was no malintent.
That was
what
the
happened
thing.
was it was a baby gorilla got a hold of someone's phone that was recording, and it was like holding it and it was looking at it, so it was like selfies almost.
Yep.
You know, and she said, joking, because they were like, it was all like out of frame, and and she said, oh, it looks like when you take selfies, it looks like you when you take selfies. She said, it looks like you in your pictures. And then he just like freezes. You know? And
he immediately recognizes the connotations there.
And he says, because he realized, that was the other thing, is he realized there was no malintent. And he said, oh, it kind of does. And I think it was more of a joking, whether you were white, black, Hispanic, or Asian, you look like a gorilla. You know what I mean?
If
like
it
she
was a white dude,
busting his
it would
balls.
have been like, hey,
She
you
was
look like a
bust-
gorilla.
I think the idea was
she was busting his balls, and it just so happened that it was just the wrong person to do
He's
it
a
to.
black dude.
He's
and
a black guy.
There's bad history.
Yeah, and there's
mean-
bad history with that.
You mean she didn't attend the Charlottesville rally?
Yeah.
I was driving the Mustang.
Yeah.
People immediately freaked and started like,
Well,
she
that's
needs
what
to
we
be
do
fired.
now.
Yeah,
That's
she needs
what
to be
we do
fired.
now.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, the reality is, all she was doing was saying, "Hey, I'm a woman and you're a man, and you look like a monkey because all men are apes."
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like if there's
I
only
don't
so
even
many
think it
people
was
on a
that.
morning show. Like there's an anchor,
See-
a weather person, a sports guy, and maybe a
but-
traffic person. Right?
Yeah.
There's 4 people, so you only have so many people to joke with. And if it's let's
That's
put it
the
in
thing
this.
is, I think Brad even took it too far and went into too much detail with it. I don't even think it was that. I think it not you because you said like all men.
No, I
gorilla-
think it's a playful thing.
I
but
think
when
it
you're
was a
on a
playful
morning
thing.
show, they do
Yeah.
that banter.
Yeah,
And
Right.
they do that thing where
She
they
was
say,
busting
oh,
his balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it looks like you. You know,
Nowadays, you
whether
have to
it was
be.
whether it was a fucking rhino or something, she was just busting his balls. Like, looks like you taking a picture.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if at this table, if we
just
if,
happened to be a gorilla and a black guy.
Yeah.
You know?
if at this table,
Yeah.
at this table we picked who looks like a gorilla, you guys are gonna look at me.
Yeah.
If we decided who looks like a rhino, it's you this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes. Right. Exactly.
I think that's all it was. It was
You-
like,
all
hey,
it was.
she
You
had
look
a
like a-
limited number of targets.
Yeah.
He looks like a preteen unicorn. Call it what it is.
Yeah. But I mean, nowadays you have to be so. I mean, political
Careful,
correctness
yeah.
is
That's
is
the
at an
thing.
extreme
And
high.
you need like a spell check for everything
Oh,
you
yeah.
say.
And
Yep.
let me tell you something. Her tearful apology was not fake.
No.
It wasn't fake. She didn't even realize she fucked up until they were probably
someone
like,
said to her.
and they were probably whispering in her ear like, "Oh my god," like, "Oh my god," and he froze, and then he played right along. He's like, "Yeah, it kind of does," because he realized that wasn't her intent. But
Do you understand
Shit.
my point, though? Like,
Yeah.
when wives get together at like a backyard barbecue,
Yeah.
oh, they're the men. They're leaving a trail of dirt, or they're
Yeah,
leaving a
yeah,
trail
yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
trash. You know, they don't clean up after.
They shit in the mulch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in their pants. Yeah.
Yes, occasionally it's true. But basically, I feel like that's what she was going for, is that
Yeah.
stereotype, because she has this morning
Right.
show banter. She's the woman, he's the man on that show.
Yeah.
They're clearly together every morning
That's all it
doing
was.
this thing, and it was pure banter. And the instant he froze, she knew it. Okay, if you look at the video, she knew,
she knew
it.
it. She was like, "Oh, fuck."
Oh, I did not mean that, but she still has to go and produce a show.
Yeah.
So she went on and she performed, and then they went the next day and she made this tearful apology. And he's like, "Yes, I accept your apology." And then this is where I get mad,
Yeah.
because he took this as his 15
This
seconds.
is his platform.
Well, look at he kind of had to. I think he had
All
to.
he had to say was, "I understand that there's negative connotations, but I know this woman too well. There's no way in hell she meant this." And then he could have absolutely diffused the whole situation right there. But instead he said, "Nope, it hurt. The words hurt. I didn't understand it." He took this as a chance
Yeah.
to make a platform where
Yeah.
there wasn't one, and he's a douchebag for
He's
doing that.
He is a dick for doing that. Yeah. No, I agree.
There wasn't an argument. This was a woman making a joke. She didn't mean it. She would have apologized anyway. All she had to say was, "I didn't mean anything by it." And he would have been like, "I know." And everybody
That
in that
would have been
town
the
would
You know what would
have
have
been
been the best thing you could have done is be like, apology accepted, honky.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can call it a morning show.
Yep.
Right?
Archie.
How's the traffic?
Yeah. Archie Bunker style.
Yeah.
You know.
No, but I mean,
You're gonna let me turn you out later, right?
it would have been
Train shows up at 9.
it would have been a better thing if he just said, "I accept your apology and I understand you had no, you know, malice behind it. You know, yeah, there's been a lot of, you know, shit in the past about it, but I know that's not what you meant." That would have been the
He made
better
it
way
more
to go.
personal than it actually was.
Yeah.
But in the
Yeah.
era of social media, okay, 20 years ago, this guy is going like, "All right, it's fine." But now he's like, well, you know what? I'm sitting here on a third-rate
gonna
news
put me-
station in
this
a
is-
fourth-rate city.
This is going to put me over the top. This is
I'm
going to
go get
pub-
myself on a national network
Yeah.
now because I was the guy who got shamed by being called a gorilla, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
I am I'm better than that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm the shit right now, and I'm going to elevate my career. And
Des Moines City Sports, here I come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Cedar Rapids.
Nah, it was terrible. I mean, the whole thing was terrible on both sides, but
It wasn't.
it wasn't.
It
but
wasn't.
But
You
that's
don't
what I'm saying.
compare
it
a
wasn't.
black person to a gorilla.
You don't compare anybody to a gorilla, but the point is,
except
all she
Dave.
was doing was saying he was sitting there taking selfies.
Yeah,
And she's, it's a cute gorilla, by the way. She could have been calling him cute for all we know.
It wasn't even a. It wasn't.
like Harambe.
It wasn't that wasn't her intention. The gorilla and black person connection had nothing to do
Yeah.
with
They
what
manufactured
she said.
it.
They manufactured it. She made a joke like, "Hey, I'm gonna rib him a little bit." Kind of looks like when you're taking pictures because it was sloppy and the things being goofy. That's what I think. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
I think
more
whether
than
she was
anything.
joking or not, it's 2019, and you know better than
It was
that.
like
I got to tell you, it annoys me because he was the opportunist here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yes.
made a case out of this where there wasn't one. All he had to do was say, I love my colleague. She didn't mean anything by that. Let's all calm the fuck down.
And everyone would have forgot.
And that was it. They were like, all right, we're good. But
Yes,
good. And they would have put the torches out, gotten away from that fucking third-rate station.
Yeah.
But they
Yep.
did it. And now it's a thing. And that's why we're talking about
that's
it
why
here
we're
on
talking
this
about it.
fourth-rate show.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
did you say put the torches out?
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
probably a bad phrase also.
And pitchforks. Yeah.
By the way, if you think we're being bad, go back to episode 100 and listen to Craig.
Yeah. 7 minutes.
That's all we're saying.
But
Matter of
it's
fact,
just, but just like you said, it was just turned into a thing to make it a thing
But that's what's
by
cool
him.
now.
You know,
That's
but
what's cool.
but that's the thing, and it shouldn't have been that way.
Yeah.
Just shouldn't have.
I
It's
got to ask you,
horrible.
I'm going to throw a question that wasn't on the outline. How long, I mean, I'm all for being right, okay? Getting.
we know.
Yeah, we
No.
You don't say.
Really?
You're all number one.
You're wrong. Let me finish my point.
What I'm trying
Now
to
go
tell
fuck
you
yourself.
is I think there's a right way and a wrong way to talk to people. And I firmly agree
Yes.
with that. But how long do we get into this PC thing? Okay, PC was a thing 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and now it's resurfaced. How long before we're homogenizing our language to the point where you can't make a joke?
Or not
Not
even make a
long.
joke. You can. You have to before you can even make a comment, like
Yeah.
a normal comment. You have to. Is that
With that
verb
perceived.
gonna work? Is that noun gonna work?
It's like
Is
playing
that-
social
like,
chess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah,
think
it's like-
7 comments after what
Yeah.
you say
Yeah.
before you say
before
something.
you say something, and that's ridiculous because, especially when you're feeling guilty about something you said that wasn't your intention. You're just talking.
I used to
Right.
do this thing on Facebook where I'd post a stupid picture every Friday and just run a caption contest.
Yeah,
And it was
they
the
were
whole,
awesome.
The whole idea was just to get all of my friends, people who might not have known each other, to get them to talk to each other. That was my sole purpose. I once posted a picture of a woman wearing something ragingly inappropriate for her size. Wasn't knocking her for wearing it, but you also can't knock us for commenting on it.
No,
Okay, and she was wearing what basically equated to a lampshade on a shed.
yeah,
It just didn't work, you know? And so I put it up there, and I got criticized at the very early age of the body shaming era.
yeah.
And I got told, who are you to criticize? And you're fat yourself and all this other. And I got so many people up in my ass. After a while, you know what? You're going to tell me that wasn't a funny fucking picture?
It was fucking hilarious, and I commented on it, and I loved it.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
we're getting to a point now where there's a question between making fun of something that somebody can't control and something they can. You
Yeah.
don't make fun of things that people can't control.
No,
When they're in control of their own faculties and they're in control of their own decisions, it bothers me that we can't make fun of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of people, I think, look for an opportunity to be offended so they can get something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
even being offended. Right?
Everybody wants to be a victim
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's and that's where we're at as a society.
It's fucking shitty.
Yeah.
It's shitty because, like you said, you can't make a joke, you can't make a comment, or
I think
anything.
there's a line though between a joke
No, there's
and
a
a comment.
There's 100%
when
a
you're
line.
when you're making a joke about all right, this gay kid's a little extra, or he's a fag. There's a line there.
That's
different.
not a joke.
That's not
different.
a joke. And, I'm not easily offended by things. I'm not. However, when people say shit like that,
Well, because
That
that's
bothers
not
me.
not a joke.
that's not
Right.
a joke.
That's a
but
cl-
people
that's a
think,
statement.
But there are people that think that is a joke
And there's
and
also,
just use it freely, and
there's
it's
also
not a
people that are
joke.
racist.
If
Exactly.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
hateful.
Or
Yeah.
hateful.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
I don't think when you put something in the context of a joke, I think everything has to be on the level of, you know what, I'm making a joke because I actually respect these people. When you roast somebody, you tear them to death, right? You
Yeah.
absolutely rip apart everything that is even criticizable about them, and that's not even a word. Okay, but you take them apart at every level, and I feel like that's all humor is these days.
Yeah.
Making jokes about things that we all share in common and we're all kind of understanding about each other. And I'm babbling here, but I really feel like we've lost that.
Yeah.
But whenever they have those roasts, there's always a level of respect there. That's
course
like,
there is.
It's just, it doesn't have to be said, or you know what I mean. It's just there.
So
you know?
do we need to all be around like bar mitzvah tables and wearing tuxedos to make these jokes, or can we just make these jokes
Yeah,
in general?
exactly.
I mean, we've talked about this a lot on the show. Okay, censorship is a big issue with us. I've never liked the idea of censoring humor.
No,
Dave
Craig doesn't
Chappelle's
either.
getting it this week. Dave
Yeah, he
Chappelle's
is.
catching a big
His
fucking
Michael Jackson jokes. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
big time, big time.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of people saying he's way off base. And in reality, all he was saying is, you know what? There's something funny about everything.
Yeah.
It's just a question of whether or not you find
Whether
it
you
funny.
find it funny.
Kevin
If
Hart.
you let yourself laugh at it.
No,
Yeah.
it's smart to say, hey, I can say a joke, and you're gonna want to laugh, and then you start to think about it, and you don't, you know what I mean, and you get mad about it. And a lot of things too are stirred by one person. Mm-hmm. It always starts with one person
Yep.
who pulls it out and says, "Hey, I can be on the top of this platform right now by being the first one to do it." You know.
Well, that goes
And then
back to
people
your
follow.
your last week about the whatever it was, the commercial about the
Yeah.
astronauts.
It
and
was
the-
just one person that started it.
I wasn't offended by that in any way.
No one was. It was one person who said the comment, and then someone else said, "Hey, wait a minute. What? Yeah, you're right." And then it turns into a thing. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I could sit around. I've got no hate towards anybody.
Except Jews.
Except, yeah. Right?
Black people.
And he agrees with
And
me.
black people, yes.
I just do it now because you guys are assholes.
So only 42% of the world's
Race-
population.
Yeah.
Race, sexual
Ethnicity.
ethnicity, sexual orientation, whatever. I don't give a shit. If you're a good person, you're a good person. If I can hang out with you and laugh, fucking great.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're an asshole, you're an asshole for reasons other than what
Yeah.
we're just listing.
Exactly.
Let
Am
me
I
ask you guys
am
a
I going to
question.
make jokes? Yes. And if you laugh at them, even better. Because that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I meant for you to laugh at it, not fucking, not be offended by it. That's not what
Crucify
I
me.
you know,
Right.
Yeah.
That's not what I was going at.
Let me ask you a
You know?
question. How do you tell the bride at an Italian wedding? She's the one with the braided armpit hair.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Italian.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
As
to make
a Portuguese person, how do you keep Portuguese off your front lawn? Keep your trash in the backyard.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna go through it.
Yeah.
There's good shit in there.
There is definitely something useful
There's
in
something
there.
good in there.
Yeah.
You know,
Seriously.
but
Dave, you got any Swedish jokes?
No, but these two motherfuckers have been looking around my garage for 45 minutes already.
In the trash cans.
But listen, I have family members that are gay. I have family members that are black. I don't give a fuck.
You don't
'Cause they're
count 'cause you're
awesome people.
4%.
They're
That
awesome.
doesn't
Craig,
count.
That doesn't
just
count.
because you're
That's right.
4%.
I'm 4%. That's right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But black, not gay. I wouldn't do that. That's gross. No.
How would you be 4% gay? Would you just like glance at a dick every once in a while and that's it?
Yeah, every time Charlie sends me a video.
Yes. You play it twice.
just watch it
instead
till
of
the
just
end.
You take a 4% glance at a fucking cock.
Play it twice, yeah.
once. Was
And
that a
then delete
rubber
it.
drill? What was that?
But nah, but I mean, I have family members that are gay. I have family members that are black. It doesn't matter to me. I love them all, and we all have a blast together. And I don't look at them in any different way to anybody else in my family. They're my family, just like everybody else is.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
But when we're rapping almost like we are right now, just talking, nobody cares if you're gay, if you're black, if you're fucking Portuguese,
Matt,
if you're Italian. Nobody gives a shit about that.
How many black comments and jokes have I made in front of your wife?
Oh, we all do it.
Right?
She's the
It's
most
a thing.
racist one of all of us.
She is wicked racist. Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean? As joking around, I'll say shit to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And has she ever looked at me with disgust? Well, other than just me.
Well, not for that reason.
Not for that reason, you know?
Yeah.
No.
She's a list.
But no,
I think-
I love her to death. She knows it. You know,
Yeah.
she's never taken offense to anything.
But you
and
know
I
what?
would never be offensive towards her.
The
She
average
knows I'm joking.
The average person here can tell when someone's being hateful and someone's joking.
Yes,
You know what I
right.
mean? So these people trying to blur the lines between that is ridiculous, you know, for notoriety.
Yeah.
Like this fucking weatherman or whatever the fuck he was. You know?
Yeah, most of my comments are like that. It's sarcasm against the stereotype. Is what I do.
Yeah.
I find it funny.
Yeah.
And when you're being sarcastic about a stereotype, that's a joke. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Outlandish.
Yeah, I'm being outlandish about a certain stereotype that's going on. You know,
Yeah.
right.
that's the thing.
I think there's a difference too when it's personal to you. You know, our sister is gay.
Yes,
She is, and
that's what I'm saying.
and for me, I make jokes to her. You know, he makes jokes to her. He makes jokes to her.
Yep.
However, if somebody is hateful, I take that
if
personally.
somebody's hateful towards you,
if somebody, I will defend her to the end
Of course.
because she is my sister. But not only because she's my sister, but you know, we have other family members that are gay, and I take that offensively too. If somebody says something towards them in any negative way,
Yeah.
it's not a joke, and it's not a joke to them, and it's not a joke to me.
But if you listen back to the intro a few weeks ago, we made a few jokes during the intro,
You did, but those were jokes.
and that was the difference.
It all boils
There
down
is
to
a difference.
intent.
There's a
Yes.
big difference.
And
You
I
know,
stepped
I joked
away
to
for
her.
a minute. I apologize. I felt like Rocky climbing the steps in the back. They're going to build a bronze statue of me wheezing.
But you know what though? I feel like
Instead of arms up, they're just hunched over. He's leaned over.
I feel like
Hanging out
people
around his knees.
I feel like people can immediately tell the difference between hate and joking.
Smart people can.
Smart people.
I mean,
Smart
like,
people can.
like 90% of fucking people can tell the difference between something that's meant to be hateful to someone. You know what I mean? Like you were just at the fucking Charlottesville rally,
Yeah.
running motherfuckers over, rather than he kind of looks like a gorilla. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Laughing. You know, she's like ad libbing, trying to. You know what I mean? Trying to be
Because
funny on
it
a
was
fucking
it was
TV
like
show.
me and you sitting there and seeing it, and me looking at you, going, "Huh, looks like you."
Yeah,
That's what it
exactly.
was.
And I'm gonna be like, Craig, you piece of shit.
piece
You
of
must
shit.
hate Portuguese
You must-
people.
Yeah. But
It's
you know what?
obvious.
Yeah.
Brad makes a point, like, smart people know the difference. A lot of these people that are speaking up are smart people because they know the difference, but they make a decision to make a
To
deal
jump
on
on
it.
that
Exactly.
bandwagon.
And
They
again, I
want
think
to-
they're opportunists. I think
That's
they're looking
exactly
for
what
a
it is,
chance.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yes.
I'm going to be famous for 15 minutes. Somebody might buy my book.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
and I
a
felt
lot
like
of
this
opportunists.
newscaster was looking for a chance to say, "Hey, you know what? ABC National might pick me up."
Leeches.
Yeah, well,
She's gonna have to apologize to me on air, and I'm gonna make a fake heartfelt fucking.
He's going to make it more
thing.
about him
He's gonna-
than
yes.
her.
Yeah,
That's
someday I'll be Al Roker's fucking backup.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna have to eat a few more
I'm a-
waffles.
Yeah,
But
just
yeah.
I'm
Hiding
a
that back
fucking
fat for a few minutes.
douche. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Have you seen Al Roker lately? AIDS is bad.
yeah, yeah.
No offense to
I
the
just
AIDS
assumed it was
community.
crack.
No offense.
That's what I assumed it was crack.
Yeah.
Well, who else is that sprightly in the morning?
I thought it was all that working out in the fields.
I can't wait to watch it tomorrow morning. Dorian's going to hit Florida at an unexpected rate.
Yeah.
My nose is crusted in white.
Yeah.
It stinks like burnt plastic in here.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Moving on.
Moving on. But let's go on to other people that are trying to get into the spotlight
All right.
and who have actually achieved it. Another opportunist that we've given him the opportunity.
Well, not we.
Oh.
Just
Everybody.
us.
We've talked about
Not
it.
just everybody.
Who was thinking about?
Anybody who's mentioned this guy publicly on the air
Everybody
or off
has
given this guy life.
He was on the Chip Chipperson podcast.
Oh, was he really?
He had him as a guest.
So
No
we
shit.
need to talk about him. You know him by one name, and that's Bagel Boss Guy.
Oh,
Yep.
fuck that guy. Fucking idiot.
Well, Bagel
Right?
Boss Guy had a bad week. Bagel Boss Guy.
Another bad week?
Oh
Oh yeah. Bagel Boss Guy had a quote unquote weigh-in because he's going to fight another pillar of society, Lenny Dykstra. If there was ever an argument for abortion, it's Bagel Boss Guy and Lenny Dykstra.
Parents, pull out.
Yeah, that's it.
Lenny Dykes was basically the John Daly of MLB.
Yeah, more or less. Except that John Daly was actually decent for more than 2 years.
All right, that's fair.
And
All
I'm a
right.
Mets fan, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement.
The best
I
is-
had a Dykstra jersey. Little did I know that it would condemn me so late in life.
They weighed in and they promoted it under an overpass.
Right.
They promoted this fight under an
It's true.
overpass. They did.
It's true.
True story.
And then Lenny Dykstra, who at 5'8", still towers over this guy.
Yeah.
Because it was funny. I was assuming they did it under the overpass because the fucking Bagel Boss's guy's van was parked under it. Because that's where he lives. And Lenny Dykstra was just down there buying crack. They were like, perfect.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence. Let's just do it now.
We're good to go
Boss
now.
guy.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Lenny Dykstra actually had a house. He owned a $1.5 million mansion outside
Yep.
of Philadelphia.
Sense. He made some money playing ball.
Yeah.
No. He made his money. He blew his money playing ball, and he snorted it. He made his money running a series of what he called high-end car washes.
Yeah.
All in and around Philadelphia. Because if you think high-end cars, you think Philadelphia. But this guy had like marble countertops, and he had like white glove service. And he charged people like $150 for a fucking car wash and
shit.
detailing. And he did his thing. He made some money. His house was literally covered in feces by the time they evicted him.
No.
Yeah.
It was literally, he just let the animals run wild. He had rooms in his house. Every time it got too filled with shit, he just shut the door.
No
Yep.
shit.
So I had a book that more or less served as Lenny Dykstra's biography. He basically lived with the journalist for a year. And this guy,
He was good with what was written.
because he couldn't deny it. It
Yeah.
was true. And the guy lived in squalor.
Really?
For the longest time. This is a guy who was a hero to Mets fans and to Phillies fans. And he didn't have to live this way, but he chose to. So the instant Bagel Boss got famous, they said, well, who should he fight? Well, Jimmy Walker's not available.
Webster's
what
is he
dead.
famous?
Webster, no, Webster's alive and well. Gary Coleman's
Gary Coleman's
dead.
dead. I'm sorry.
Flava Flav is all tied up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He literally caught in his own chains.
Busy stuck between Bridget Nielsen's tits and her hips.
Yeah.
Well, that's ironic that you mentioned Brigitte Nielsen because that's exactly what this weigh-in looked like. It was
Yeah.
like Drago standing over Rocky. It was like Russian engineering versus Italian ingenuity.
And Dykes is not that big of a dude.
No.
He's 5'9" if I'm 5'9".
No.
I mean, the guy...
least
I don't,
he was
even, I don't
a
even think he's 5'9".
Professional athlete.
I don't
I'm
think
throwing
he is
air
either, no.
quotes.
I think he's like 5'6", 5'7". He's not a very big
All right,
guy.
but Bagel Boss was basically selling
5
his cock
foot. Yeah.
to the
He's
cock
a
merchant.
he's a little fella.
Yeah, he's a little fella.
Yeah.
He is a
Oh,
piece
not a
of shit.
PC.
But they ended up getting into a shoving match at the weigh-in.
No, Lenny Dykstra shoved him across the room.
Well, he bitch slapped him first. He slapped him first.
No, he slapped him after.
Oh.
When he got up, he ran at him. Bagel Boss guy ran at him, and Lenny Dykstra just slapped him to the ground again. And then they carted Lenny Dykstra out the door. Two giant guys carried him. His feet weren't touching the floor. They carried him right out the door.
Do they have like bell music going? Like he's trying to run.
Yeah, it should have been. And the people were trying to. You could tell Bagel Boss guy was just doing his like, let me at him, but
Putting on a show,
but intentionally putting the bodyguards in his way.
Oh yeah.
Like, let me by. Hold on. You're blocking me. The guy's like, no, I'm not. Hold on.
Oh, I love those. I love those.
I'll
guys.
move.
Yeah,
Let me at him. Let me at him.
Yeah. You know, it was one of
Fuck that
those.
guy.
But it was so stupid that. But at the same time, I'm like, Lenny Dykstra's taking this shit serious.
Yeah.
Because he was, it was a promotional weigh-in thing,
Right.
And of course, they're talking crap back and forth, and then Lenny Dykstra's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna fucking two-hand shove this guy across the fucking room," and he did.
Across the underpass.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
Yeah. It was insane.
Push him right into the breakdown lane.
I'm looking. I'm like, they were inside of a building, so it must have been like a diner or something. But the next thing, they're outside, and all this chaos is happening. I'm like, they're under an overpass. They're not like it's some. I thought at first, like maybe they're at the venue. Like,
Right.
With the,
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
they had
yeah.
curtain.
Like a
And I'm
gym or something. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
no gym. No, they were under an overpass.
$10
Oh, yeah.
sacks of crack flying everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. See a fucking McDonald's cup come floating down from fucking the guy throwing it out his window.
They're at the
Yeah.
Denny's on Main Street in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Fucking jukebox that's broken.
And also filled with crack.
It was definitely crack there.
That fight, is it this weekend
Oh, I don't know.
or
No,
next
I
weekend?
thought it was later in the month. I thought
I'm watching it.
after this fucking idiot,
I'm
this
watching it.
kid, after this
I
troll
want to watch
got
that too.
locked up for a psyche eval, it's not happening.
Well, that's what happened this week.
Yeah.
He ended up lashing out at cops because getting
knew.
your ass pushed by Lenny Dykstra wasn't enough to demean you. The guy decided he was going to go mouth off to cops and got his ass handed
And
to
was
him.
swinging a bat and shit.
Yeah.
He said he had a bat and
Fucking
stuff.
that's
Yeah.
idiot.
that's a way to dump out of a commitment without actually quitting.
Yeah. It's
You know
the
what's-
honorable way.
I don't know. I don't know. The thing is, the only thing is, it might be for him, but he has a full on management team now.
He does
Right.
for
So,
this
no.
one event.
He doesn't. He has a third-rate PR agency that said, you know
Yeah.
what, we need a quick
Yeah.
win, and we got it.
But you don't think
Yeah.
that they're gonna bail him out for this fight?
Of
No,
course
they're
they
gonna
will.
bail him. He's already
Like
out.
this-
he
this-
passed the psyche eval.
This fight has to happen for them to make their money.
They had
He never went in. He actually got yanked.
Yeah,
out.
he
They
got
say
out.
He passed out right away. Passed out.
No,
Now, that comes later.
He passed the psych eval right away. Yeah,
he's
and he was
fine.
out.
He's fine. And you know
He's
what's-
just an idiot.
he's a
Yeah,
dummy,
He's a fucking
Yeah.
moron.
and he's borderline homeless. I
Yep.
don't know. He's got a nicer minivan than I expected him to have.
Yeah.
It's a 2001.
Yeah. He must.
He's
he
got all
bought
that
it with.
fuck you Aerostar money.
He bought it with that. He bought it with all that Bagel Town money that fucking.
Well, that's the best part of this. Is Bagel Boss is a chain of Long Island
Yeah.
bagel companies.
yeah.
They are just raking in money now. Every time somebody drives by and says, "Yeah, I want a bagel," where do we go? That's the Bagel Boss
Bagel
guy.
Boss.
People don't realize they're like 80 miles from where the original Bagel Boss
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
They're making money hand over fist.
Yep.
So
Oh,
the
yeah.
more this guy can do, the better.
And you can buy crack by the dumpster in the back.
Yeah.
You know?
That's not crack, that's bagel salt.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Fucking
Everything bagel
Boss.
comes with a side of Narcan.
But you know what else can happen by the. Guess what else happens by the dumpster in the back? The cops can show up and find an 85-year-old woman
Doing
being
what?
fucking getting a train pulled on her by fucking 5 85-year-old men.
Yeah.
Let's be
My
fair.
spirit animal.
That ain't a train. That's a locomotive.
It's a steam train. Starts off slow. The wheels are sliding on the fucking tracks.
Oh boy.
It's nothing but steam and the
Nothing
train didn't go
sliding.
anywhere.
Nothing
Right.
is sliding.
An 85-year-old woman was arrested and was caught with 5 elderly men.
Five.
5.
All over the age of
One of-
67, if I'm not mistaken.
62. There was one
Oh, there's
62.
one,
yeah.
One
There was
spry
one-
young
That young
62-year-old.
pup.
Yeah.
You just started Social Security, you young motherfucker.
Yeah.
He just walked in and was
One
like,
of
this
them-
boner's real, yo.
Yeah.
One of them was her husband.
Yes.
She was married.
And it wasn't his first time getting caught there.
No.
Wow.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for her.
Good for her.
Yeah, she was getting down.
Can
I
you
mean,
imagine the
well-
amount of lube?
I think
yeah.
about
God.
I was going to say the squeaking.
Yeah.
It would sound like a boat rubbing
I-
against
We're
the
buying
moorings.
lube at BJ's. We're
I
not
think
even.
it was incredibly irresponsible. She could have broke a hip,
Nah.
Yeah.
a
Nah.
rib. You know what I mean?
And not even hers.
Yeah. Yeah. Very delicate.
I mean, the amount of sagging skin and it stinks.
All I could picture was like
And stink.
all I could picture was a plate of spaghetti and meatball.
Good for her.
Must look like someone tried to hold a bunch of pool noodles underwater at one time.
You son of a bitch. You don't do that when I'm drinking. God damn it. I thought it actually looked like a Shar-Pei next to an industrial fan.
That's just a lot of wrinkly fucking,
Yeah.
like mushy fucking shit happening.
I bet it
Yeah.
was great.
I bet it was great.
Until the cops came. Fucked everything up.
You ever taken a damp finger and rubbed it on a balloon?
Yep. Sure have.
Exactly what this would sound like.
You had me at damp.
What's that boner like? It's like putting a steel pipe inside like 2 layers of quilt.
Those Afghans.
The Afghans.
There's nothing worse than when she pulls her flaps aside and reveals her knees.
Christ.
Oh,
Oh my God.
why?
Oh, yeah, that crossed the line. Fuck off.
That was too much. Yeah.
You crossed the
Are those
line.
your nipples? No, they have rug burns on my knees.
Oh, that's fun. But I said flaps and it was bad. All right. Now I know.
And the fire department showed up because they started the fire with 5 sticks. 1 bush. No moisture to be seen for a half a mile.
5 sticks, 1 bush. Is your next big hit porno movie?
How else is she supposed to make money at 85?
Oh my God.
I just think it's great that she smelled like aqua vulva.
Oh my God.
Paramedics reported 6 cases of severely chapped gums.
I know there's 2 trees with steel poles on them for like the handicap bathrooms for her to hold on to.
The handicap bars on the trees.
On the trees in the middle of the woods.
Empty 5-gallon buckets of Bengay
Yeah.
everywhere littered the scene.
We could smell the spearmint from a mile away.
We know something was up here.
Follow the peppermint smell.
The cops found them because they followed the tire tracks from the parking lot to the woods.
And it's actually not tire tracks, it's her tits.
6-wheel.
From her just walking in.
6 wheelchairs parked in a circle.
Hard candy wrappers. Fucking. It was quite the scene, man.
She tried to bribe the cop with a quarter. Go get some ice cream.
Oh, boy.
So let me ask you, Matt, as a licensed arborist, how much does this happen?
What do you think the pH was like in the soil that day?
Well, as long as the cabling was secure in the trees.
But the sodium was high.
I didn't know if it was acidic or alkaline.
I don't know, but this soil needs a little Eliquis.
I've never seen semen immediately decompose.
Just looked like a fucking dust storm in the woods.
Evaporation immediately.
Looks like Harry Potter.
The fucking dust bowl of fucking 2019.
Oh my god.
Holy shit. This is the greatest thing ever. I can hear like squeaking and branches knocking.
So it was an epic rope fight.
Lots of burning.
All right, so the next headline.
Yeah. We're not getting anything else out of that one.
How do you transition?
I would say we milked that more than her tit showed. Yes. You know what, folks? I feel like we're getting to a point. We've talked about Uncle Ray on this show ad nauseum. And Uncle Ray is somebody I would have wanted to know whether or not Craig was involved. In fact, I'd prefer
In
if he
spite
wasn't.
of Craig being
Yeah.
involved. Yes.
You
Yeah.
definitely would want to know him.
Uncle Ray's stories absolutely were the highlights of most of our early episodes. We haven't gone back to the Uncle Ray stories in a while.
Yeah.
But
You
we're
know what's-
actually sitting here with both of Ray's kids
I was just gonna say that.
and his nephew and you, who he hates.
We know that.
He don't know you, but he hates you. I want you to
Yeah.
sleep tight tonight knowing
I know
that.
it.
Uncle Ray is an absolute inspiration. The stories that Craig has told alone, you know what? We'd be stupid not to get it from his kids themselves.
Well,
So I'm going to sit back and watch this unfold. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig, if you would give us the music.
Smile, you son of a...
Give us one, Matt.
There's so many.
There's
Yeah,
there's
it's
quite a bit.
I have some favorites I've heard, but I want a couple weeks ago, after we were done recording or while we were on a break, Craig told a quick Uncle Ray story. Oh, so we're doing our redemption bit that Brad fucked up because he can't redeem anybody because he hates everybody.
Yep.
He's flipping me off, and I can see it. But you were talking about Uncle Ray, and you told a story about an orange. Do you remember the story?
Yes.
All right. That story I would love for you to tell to get
I
us
would love to
started.
hear it.
All right. So we had bunk beds.
Now, you were living with them,
Yeah,
right?
I was living with them at the time. We had bunk beds, and my Uncle Mike says to Ray, "Hey, if I drop this orange from the top bunk onto your face from here, do you think it would hurt?" And Ray is like, "No fucking way. You fucking orange, that's nothing." So he sticks his head out from the bunk bed, and Mike drops it. And it fucking thing had been in the freezer since about 8 in the morning. So it just banged off his face like a fucking rock. It was like, whack! And it was like, what the fuck? And it was like he had planned it all day. You put the orange in the freezer in the morning. It's like, I'm going to drop this on his face tonight.
Uncle Mo is pretty cunning like that.
Yeah. But the best is Ray was like, fuck no. Like that he's like, no way, that ain't got an orange. What are you out of your mind? Go ahead.
You
Go ahead.
pussy. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. And it just bounced off his fucking face like a rock. I'm like, holy shit.
I mean, just like a quick one. I remember me and my dad were in Stop and Shop one time, and we're walking in there, and I gotta have cereal, right? We get cereal every weekend. So we go walk in the cereal aisle, and there's one woman there. She had to be 85, probably something like that.
Tired from banging in the woods.
Yeah.
All strung
And
out.
she-
We're
I-
ready for Rayanne's draft list.
Yeah, I mean, she's browsing through the maple brown sugar oatmeal. And
30
so,
feet of snail trails behind it.
Yeah. So we're walking there,
David.
and my dad was the type of guy that, I mean, if you had a fart, I mean, you just let it rip. You know what I mean? I mean, no matter where. You know, it's bad for you to keep it in.
Yeah.
You know, right? That was always the premise that I was raised
Don't hold
upon.
it in. It's gonna.
Like George peeing in the shower.
Yeah.
And that was a scuba diving thing. That's what that was.
Yeah, it could
was
kill you.
It could kill you if you scuba dive. So it didn't matter whether it was on land or on the water. It was just gonna happen.
It didn't matter, you know. So we're browsing through the Captain Crunch, and this lady is like back to back with my father. I mean, seriously, probably like 2 feet away, less than 2 feet away, and my dad just lets this fart rip. I mean, it wasn't like a yeah. It was like a yeah. You know what I mean, it was like a solid 15 seconds. Solid 15 seconds. And this woman turns around with the most absolute disdain and disgust on her face, and she looks at my father with this look on her face like she has something that stinks on her upper lip or something. And
she did.
And she most likely did. And she looks at him, and what my father said, I'll remember this forever. He looks at her and goes, "Oh my God," he goes, "You got some nerve." Like, look at her. Like she farted. And the look on her face as she didn't even know what to say. She just walked away.
Whose fault is this really?
Whose fault is it really? You ended up in this aisle with me. It was obviously your fault. And from that, you know, I was raised. You know, I became a man upon that.
God.
Oh my God.
I gotta tell you, some of my favorite Ray stories. It's funny. Craig calls them Uncle Ray stories. I've heard them as like dad stories.
Yeah.
It's all the same. But a lot of my favorite stories are how Matt tells them and how you, Craig, tell the stories. But one of my favorites, Matt, you told a story about you were out in a boat with Ray once with your dad, and the guy that was captain was you already know.
Big
Go
Al.
ahead and tell
Big
it.
Al.
Yeah,
Big
you
Al.
already. I didn't even finish it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, we were tuna fishing. I mean, we were probably 100 miles offshore, and we actually were heading back. And I mean, to know this story, you have to know Big Al. He was like a neat freak, super perfectionist.
very.
He had to have the best
He was
of
a
everything.
weightlifter, dude.
I mean, jacked up on steroids. I mean, he was like known for selling steroids. Like that was his thing.
Fanny pack.
Fanny pack.
Oh, he was that
cut
guy?
off sleeve,
Yeah.
sweatshirt, weight belt.
He looked
That was
like
him.
the fucking
Yes.
barber beefcake.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Yep.
you know?
That was him.
And so we're
curse that
fucking
guy.
steaming in
He's a
to
piece of
shore.
shit.
And I mean, we're going pretty fast, and I'm on the bow like all fucking Leonardo DiCaprio style. I'm the king of the world type shit.
Now, how old are you when you?
I gotta be maybe 13
All right.
or something like that.
100 miles offshore fishing.
Yeah. And I had like a 20-ounce bottle of Coke at the time. And you know, when you're a kid, you act on impulse. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you do things. And I took the cap off and took a sip of the Coke, and I decided, what would happen if I try and throw this forward while we're going like 40 knots, fucking light speed right now? What would happen?
You are so much your dad's son.
Yeah, oh yeah. He is. Yeah, he is.
So what would happen if I decided to throw this forward? You know, and so that's what I did. I decided to throw it forward, and it probably went about 3 feet and immediately came back and hit his spotless clean boat. I mean, this guy was on with a fucking toothbrush, fucking washing the crevices of his boat. And I throw this fucking warm soda all over his boat in like a 90-degree July day. And immediately turns to fucking molasses all over the fucking captain's wheel and all that shit. And so he immediately throttles the boat down and starts screaming at me like, Ray, you need to control your son. My father was eating like a fucking willow tree sandwich or something. Like a fucking tuna fish sandwich that was probably like 10 days old. Something at the time. And he found in the fucking gunnel of the boat, probably.
Yeah.
And he, one thing about my father, he was really, really patient. Really patient guy with his kids. I mean, I dislocated his knee like 4 times before he even yelled at me once about it. And the minute Big Al decided to start yelling at his kid,
he turns into a fucking
Fucking
animal.
lost it,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He lost it. He had tuna fish or willow tree, whatever the fuck it was, all over his face, screaming at Big Al. Don't you ever yell at my fucking kid! Screaming, fucking tuna
Flying
spitting everywhere. And this guy, Big Al, is like a fucking. I mean, to see this guy, it's like this guy has an air fitting on him to pump him up.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's fucking giant.
yeah, his brother won Mr. America in 1989 or something like that, and he was like his fucking twin brother. So this guy was giant, like fucking inflated on steroids. So for my 5'5" father to start screaming at this guy, and this guy immediately shut up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, listen, warm soda all over your boat is gonna have to do right now, motherfucker. And that's what you're fucking dealing with. And that was it, man. He grabbed the hose and he started washing it off, and then we went back to shore, and it was
he
over.
did the same thing to Joe Medeiros. Yelled at my sister. That's how he was. When you say patient, that's how he was.
Yeah.
Except with me, he wasn't like that. Me and your father fought. Oh my God! We didn't fight.
No,
It
he was only
just-
patient with his kids.
Yeah, he was only patient with his kids because we fucking went at it. I mean, my grandma Lee was always, what is it now? What's going on now? And that was that, and it was your father, so he's always fucking getting the better of me.
Yeah.
And that's when I left him stuck in the boat that day.
Yeah.
In the driveway.
Well, you and Hay were only what, 13 years apart, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
You were close enough where he wanted to bust your balls.
Yeah,
but-
he was like I always said, all my uncles were kind of more like brothers to me, especially because we lived together.
right.
Yeah.
You know, so they were all like brothers to me, like older brothers to me than anything else. And that was the day I came home, and his fingers, he was trying to fix a hole in the boat in the fiberglass, and he stuck his fingers in the hole, and he was trying to pull it back out, and it was the fiberglass was coming back up. It was like a trap, like a finger trap.
Yeah.
And he's right when I got off the bus, he was like, "Oh, sweet." He's like, "Oh, good, you're home. Good. Go in the house, get me some dishwashing liquid." I'm like, "Why? What's the matter?" He's like, "Oh, my finger's stuck on the boat. I gotta get." I'm like, "All right." I went in the house, I shut the door, I locked it, I put the TV on, sat on the couch, started watching cartoons. I'm like, "Fuck you."
And then you got beatings.
And then like you stayed out there all fucking day. He said, "Now I'm not gonna have to deal with your shit while I'm trying to watch cartoons," because that's how. And Grandma came home, oh my God, and freaked out. And he's screaming in the front yard,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna fucking kill you." And I just turned the volume up on the TV. So when Grandma Lee came home, he's screaming in the front yard. The fucking windows are open. The TV's just blaring from inside the house. And I'm just sitting on the couch like, fuck him. Yeah, I ain't gonna get him.
Trying to drown out the death threats.
Yeah. And I knew I was safe when Grandma got home. But he, immediately he's like, "Oh, you're gonna fucking die."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah.
As soon as Grandma's not around and your mom's not around, I'm gonna kill you.
Didn't he think he killed you once or Mike killed you?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that was a good one.
he was prepared to help Uncle Mike bury my body.
Not only bury it, but just hide it from everyone.
So that Lori wouldn't find out.
Lori could never know.
Lori's my mom.
Yeah.
And we had a plan. I was young, and we were sitting. We had like a counter.
Makes it easier to hide you.
Yeah. We had a counter in Grandma's house. It was like almost like an island, but it was like a U-shaped counter. And we were sitting there. There was a bench, and we were eating cereal. And Ray was coming down the stairs, and Mike looks at me and goes, "Oh, I'm going to fake slap you. When I do, just fall off the bench." So I'm like, all right. So he pretends slaps me, but he puts his hand near my face. So when it slaps, it made a wicked loud slap, and I fall off the thing. It was timed perfectly. I fall onto my back and then pretend I'm knocked out. Ray immediately freaks out. What are we going to do with him? Lori's going to find out and kill us. What are we going to do?
Grab the spade shovels.
Like, what's the plan? He immediately said, like, you killed him. You killed him. What's the plan?
Your well-being was not his first concern.
He was shocked at first, and sad for a second.
Just for a second.
Then the plan. Then there had to be a plan.
Yeah, because there are consequences to these things.
Once Lori finds out.
This is the man that was going to take me to pick my mother up at work. My mother, when we first moved in, my mother was working at this dry cleaners. So he was going to pick my mother up. So he takes me. He's watching me throughout the day, which was horrendous.
Yeah.
And on the way there, he's like, "Oh, if you tell your mother what I did, I'm gonna fucking murder you." Right? So I'm like, okay. So now I'm just being quiet. I'm terrified in the street. So we're going, and I'm like, where are we going? He's taking back roads to get there. So I don't know where we are. And he's telling me he's taking me to China.
And you were blindfolded in the trunk.
He's like, you're a pain in the ass, and I'm taking you to China. I'm just going to leave you there. And then I'll go get your mom, and we'll go home, and that'll be it. You'll be gone.
Yeah. And I'm like, let's start over.
And I'm young enough. I'm like, I don't want to go to China. Fucking bawling my eyes out. But the thing was, when he threatened me to fucking calm down. So when my mother got in the car, but I had been hyperventilating for so long that when she got in the car, I was still going. And she's like, "What's the matter?" And he's fucking staring at me like, "Don't you fucking say a word."
You will go to China, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then finally, I was like, "Fuck you." He was taking me to China. My mother was furious. He was so fucking...
Oh, he fucked with you. You weren't one of his kids.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, God.
No, but these two,
Yeah.
fucking Matt could have lit him on fire in his living room.
Yeah.
He would have been like,
we
"Oh,
nearly
Matt,
did.
come on, get some water, poke me out. Come on. Oh, you shouldn't play with matches. It's cool."
I remember one time this guy at it was like one of my first jobs when I was a kid. I was probably like 16. And I got a dishwasher job at Hot Point Grill on State Street.
Yeah, I remember that place.
Yeah, and his boat was docked right at the bottom of the road, like 3 buildings down.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to work till like midnight on school nights. I mean, I was in like fucking like 10th grade at the time, you know what I mean? And my mother was like, "You can't work there anymore. This is ridiculous." So I had worked like a week and a half, and I had to call the guy on the phone and tell him I quit, and he's like, "You fucking piece of shit, you're done, fuck you, you're fired instead," you know what I mean? And I'm like, all right. So I went down to, my dad happened to be at the dock that day when I found out, and I told my dad, I'm like, I'm like crying and shit. I'm like, "Dad,
I got fired."
Yeah, I got fired. He says he's not paying me for the time that I worked. My dad's like, "What?" He goes, "All right." Well, keep in mind, my dad, about 5 minutes before, it was low tide, and he decided to jump from the dry dock into his boat that was down about 15 feet because it was low tide. And he went right through the engine panel. And I mean, it wasn't a boo-boo. He actually, like, you could see bone in his shin.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he was fucked up. I mean, he got hurt. You know what I mean? But he would never let us know. You know what I mean? That he was actually, like, really hurt.
No.
So he's like, I'm going to kill this guy. So he was taking out all his anger on that. So we walked up there together. And this guy from Hot Point, I don't know what this guy was doing, but he had a guy there that was almost like a bodyguard. And he was this black dude that was probably like 6 foot, maybe 400 pounds, right? Yeah. The guy was giant. And there was this tiny little entrance into the building. And this guy literally took the whole entrance up by just standing there.
Yeah.
You couldn't get by him. And we walked in, and my dad's like, the guy's like, we're closed right now. My dad's like, listen, you know, keep in mind, my dad's 5'5".
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
pretty small
little
guy.
guy.
You know what I mean?
It's
My dad's
scary,
like,
though.
listen.
Scary as fuck,
He
yes.
goes, listen, I need to talk to the owner right now. He decided to burn my son on money that he earned. And the dude's like, you're not going in right now. He goes, I will smash your fucking head through the fucking window right now if you don't let... When I tell you this guy, he folded to the side and made just enough room for my father to get by real quick. So we squeezed by this fucking guy. My dad went right into the kitchen with this guy. This guy's in there like fucking sauteing some fucking hot pepper, whatever the fuck he was doing in there, cooking. And he went in there and said, you owe this kid fucking, and he like figured it out, you know what I mean? Like, you owe him, you know, $270. He goes, you know what? You owe him $300. You know, you fucking owe him $300. And the guy's like, fuck you, I'm not paying him. And my dad got right in his fucking face. When I tell you this guy whipped out his wallet and paid me cash. He paid me, he took his wallet out and took all the cash out. It was like $312 or something. In his fucking library card. I was like, hey. And he's like, no, apologize to him too. You know, the guy fucking apologized to me. Shit.
Oh my god.
He was that was one thing was the best was Uncle when we were living on Lincoln Avenue, we all moved down there, and Uncle Bob had his own room with the doors, you know, like he had a door and he put a padlock on it because your father used to go in there and take his clothes all the time, right? So
his acid wash jeans.
yeah, you did. Like every Friday night, your father would be like, I can't wear these jeans because they're covered in fiberglass and shit. So we go and take Uncle Bob's nice clothes and then go out. And then the worst part is he would wake up in the morning and then go to work and just destroy them. So Uncle Bob was like, you're not taking my clothes anymore. So he puts a padlock on the door. But he put a padlock on the outside. The hinges are on the outside. And I'll never forget, I'm sitting there watching TV on a Saturday morning. Uncle Bob leaves for work. Your father just comes over, take the hinges off, slides it around the lock, goes in his room, puts clothes on like, oh, these fit. Like this, and then puts his door back, closes the hinges, and takes them off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Uncle Bob's like, you took my fucking... How did I take your clothes? The door's locked.
You took my Skid Row t-shirt, you fucking asshole.
Yeah. Oh, it was fucking great. Those were fun times.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh god, there are too many. There are so many stories that I've heard and that I've experienced myself. One being at my graduation, my high school graduation.
Yep.
My father, he thought he was the best. He wore this button-down shirt that had swordfish all over it. It had little pictures of swordfish all over it, which was already so embarrassing. And I just remember walking down the aisle. And I'm 2 feet from my dad, who is 5'5".
Yep.
He's standing on a chair, and there's a woman behind him, and he's fighting with a woman behind him because she can't see her kid.
Yeah.
But my dad's like, I just remember walking by, and he's like, I'll see my goddamn kid. He's like, my kid's graduating, you piece of shit. He's screaming at this woman behind him. He's standing on a chair in front of her. But I was so embarrassed. But they were one of my favorite stories that I've heard from Uncle Mike. He told me Uncle Mike was doing a job for the Navy base.
Oh my god.
Oh.
A carpeting job for the Navy base.
Oh my God.
Down in
Now
Newport, right?
in Newport,
Yep.
they have a personalized carpet
Yeah,
for
they had
this
it
job.
Custom made.
Hundreds of square yards.
Custom made. Uncle Mike's like, this is a $20,000 job that we're doing here. He's like, now
this.
Ray is doing something. And he's like, Ray, please don't touch the carpet. My father is Robin Hood. Yes, he is Robin Hood.
Yep.
Okay. Now my Uncle Mike goes back to finish the job. There's carpet missing. He can't finish the job now. Ray, please tell me you didn't take this carpet. Ray, my father, Mo.
I would.
I would steal from the Pope before I stole from my own brother.
Yeah.
Fine. All right, Ray. I
Wasn't
believe
Uncle
you.
Mike, you would steal from the Pope.
Yeah, Uncle Mike, you would steal from the Pope. But all right, he lets it go. A couple weeks later, he goes into this little tiny this diner in Bristol, sees the carpet installed.
The
same carpet. My uncle goes in there.
The
and
only other place in the world that has this carpet.
other than the Navy base.
The U.S. Navy and this Bristol
this
diner.
little Bristol diner.
Roxanne's diner.
So he's talking to the owner, and he's like, oh, I really like this carpet. The owner's like, yeah, I got it off this guy Ray. He installed it for $50. Yeah. He goes back to my father, and he's like, Ray, you better hope the Navy never wants fucking eggs, Ray. He's like, they gotta know. They'll know what you did.
I would steal from the Pope before I stole from you.
Yeah, my favorite was he's like, I think Ray was like,
Oh, he's
Yeah,
like,
go
they
ahead.
had plenty.
Yeah,
He's like,
they had plenty.
Uncle Mike's like, they needed plenty, Ray. Why did you do that?
if the Navy wants eggs, you're fucked.
Yeah. And then when I first got my first car, my father went to Circuit City when it was still a thing.
Yep.
He was going to buy me a radio for my car. And he has his work van, and we go in there. We come out, there's smoke bellowing out of the work van. I mean, bellowing out of this work van. I'm surprised there were no fire trucks here. He threw a cigarette when we got out of the van, except that it landed back in the van.
Yeah.
There was a little shirt in the middle of the van that caught on fire. It's in complete flames.
A
He's
gasoline
like, oh
soaked
my God. Like, my shirt.
My shirt he's
He's
worried about.
sitting there throwing his shirt in the air, trying to light the flames out of the shirt. He just throws it on top of another car we're parked next to. He's like, all right, fuck this shirt. It's like, it's done. At least you got your radio, honey. He's like, you got your
radio.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got your radio.
I got my radio.
Oh,
That
that,
motherfucker
What happened to
threw-
your radio?
Oh, that was another good
I
one,
got a
Craig.
big and nice radio for Christmas, like a boom box, and this is '80s. You have those boom boxes.
The
I
dual
was
cassette. You can.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
fucking with all the switches on it.
Yep.
Didn't even know what half of them did.
Didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
To record on the
High
radio.
bias.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you could dub cassette tapes.
So I get it for Christmas. About 3 days later, I go into my room. It's gone.
We know
Fucking-
what happened to it.
I'm like, so now I'm yelling at Ray. Ray, where's my radio? I have no idea where your radio went. I check his boat. It's gone. Then I find out years later.
Now, by years later, this is like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I first heard this story from Uncle Mike,
Yeah.
and then I
Yeah.
heard your side, and both sides are fucking hysterical.
Uncle Mike's got all the stories. Yeah.
They were on the boat. They're fishing. So the antenna snaps off of the radio. My Uncle Ray, oh no, it was a knob on the front.
Ray took the
It was a
radio to
knob.
go fishing. It's on
Yeah.
the boat.
He took the radio to go fishing. He broke the knob. So right away, my Uncle Mike's like, Craig's gonna be pissed. And he's like, Craig doesn't know I have it. He's like, fuck it. So he throws it into the ocean. He's like, now he'll never know that I had it.
Uncle Mike's like, it was just the knob. He's like, Craig can never know we had this.
Yeah, he fucking just whipped my fucking brand new awesome boombox into the ocean. He can never know that we had this. Don't tell him. And my Uncle Mike's like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst part. They were like in cahoots. He's like, I'll tell him when he's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like the fucking gas cans.
Speaking of my dad's van, like Rayanne was telling, that van had a lot of stories. One time we were driving that, and my father's license was suspended at the time, so he couldn't drive, and we were working with Uncle Mo, and we had to be in Exeter by like 7 a.m. It was probably like 8:30 at this time, and we're just steaming out of Warren at the time, and we all of a sudden we're driving. And all of a sudden the front tire blows on it, right? Like completely blows on it. So we're just driving on the rim. And he's like, all right, son, he goes, I guess it's time to turn around. We're not making it to this job today. So I like turning around, driving on the rim. And there is it's like morning rush hour. And there is this line of traffic behind us. And these people are beeping at us. And my father's getting so pissed. He comes on my side of the van and sticks his head out of the driver's side window, and he's like, "What? You think I like this? Like, you think I want to be doing this right now?" We get the van to his house. The tires are so bald on the front, right? They're like fucking racing slicks. He had a 10mm socket puncture the fucking tire. Ran over a fucking socket and it blew the tire because the tires were so fucking bald. Driving on just the rim. Like, what? You think I like this? Like, I want to be doing this right now? You think I want to be holding you up right now? Like, I'm fucking having a blast right now. Fuck you. Oh my God. And that like was my dad to a T.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How about you when he was taking the gas from the sailboat?
Oh,
And telling you
on Papa Squash.
Oh yeah. Don't do what Dad does.
Yeah.
Don't do what I do.
We run out of gas, and the way Bristol is, it's like two peninsulas, and with Papa Squash, and then the mainland Bristol, and we're outside the peninsula, and we run out of gas before we get around the point, and he would never be one to stress how dangerous the situation that we were in really was.
Yeah.
You know? But we ran out of gas before we got around the point and into the bay.
That's ocean.
Yeah, exactly. That's Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, you're drifting off into the ocean now.
Yeah. And we're like drifting, and he's like, "Listen, son," he goes, I don't wanna alarm you right now. He goes, I need you to grab that broom right there and use it as a paddle. And we need to paddle the boat right now. Because if we don't make it around this point, no one will ever see us again. So I'm like, sure, Dad.
Yeah.
So we paddle, and we're fucking paddling this broom like a motherfucker. And we finally get to Papa Squash, to where these multi-million-dollar houses are with their beachfront property, have their own docks and everything. He goes, and now as we're drifting up, this sigh of relief comes over his face as we're drifting towards this fucking fancy ass boat, right?
Yeah.
This like fancy yacht. And we drift up to it, and as we're drifting up to it, he goes, "Listen, son," he's like, "what I'm about to do, I never want you to do in life. Because I want you to do as I say and not as I do." He goes, "But right now our lives are in peril." He goes, "This is the only reason why I'm doing this." And I'm like confused, and we bump into the boat, right? We like fucking slam into the fucking $1 million sailboat, and he jumps off the boat, and they have an outboard external motor with an external gas tank. He jumps in the boat because we're out of gas. We've run out of gas. We have none. He rips instead of trying to siphon or any of that shit, he rips the external fucking gas tank right out of the boat. Fucking rips it right out. Jumps in the boat and dumps the fuel in our tank and then throws it over the side. It starts the boat up and then begins to reiterate life lessons to me.
We're in peril.
Yeah, we only did that because we needed to survive, but I never want you to do that ever.
There is not a person in this family that has not been on a boat with Ray that who's like, "We are in peril."
No, there's not one.
Yeah.
No.
Like, this ain't good. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing. Hey, I'm not gonna, I don't want to worry you, but this isn't good.
Yeah.
Uncle Mike told the story
I
like
don't want
that.
to worry you,
Uncle
but we're about
Mike's,
to
yeah.
die right now.
Uncle Mike was
Mike
like,
and-
they were
yeah.
out there. He's like, Ray finally looks at him. He's like, "Lo, we shouldn't be out here." And Mike looked at him and goes, "Why are we out here then, Ray?
He's like, one of us has to make it back. Lori's going to kill us.
If we both die, Lori will kill us."
One of us has to make it back.
Why are we here, Ray?
The best is when they took Ben from Luke's Inn fishing.
Oh, God.
There's a restaurant in Rhode Island called Luke's Inn. It's a Chinese restaurant, and Ben is a big
The
fisherman.
best.
And
Well, 'cause Luke's a very common Chinese name.
yeah.
Yes.
And Ben is
best.
Ben is a big fisherman, and he became good friends with my uncle. So he said, "I'll take you tuna fishing. I'll take you out." So Ben gears up. They all wrap up, and then they're out. While they're out there, the prop falls off the engine.
Like
Yeah.
80 miles offshore.
They're like 80 miles offshore.
Oh my!
So Ben is panicking, and the whole time my Uncle Mike and Uncle Ray are telling him, "No, we're gonna end up in either what was it? He was saying, North Carolina
or Greenland.
Yeah, they're just drifting. They're like, it's Greenland, North Carolina, and they're just arguing back and forth which way the tide's going.
Which way the Gulf Stream's gonna take
Ben's
them?
freaking the fuck out. And those guys are just casually arguing about, well, no, I think we're going this way. Well, we'll hit the shipping lane soon, so maybe something good will happen.
Somebody's surely gonna find us.
But this is a testament to how
This guy's on a charter that he paid to be on.
But this is a testament to how smart, and as much as we say he was like out of his mind and did crazy shit, this is a testament to how resourceful he was.
Oh, my God. The
That
most resourceful.
He ripped the speakers out of his boat and took fucking wire and tied the speaker frames to the fucking bottom of his engine. And they cruised in at like 5 miles an hour. It took them like fucking 12 hours to get to shore.
Yeah.
But he used the speakers as a propeller.
Yeah, MacGyver couldn't hold his jock strap.
Yeah.
No.
He
No.
literally jumped in the water and tied these speaker frame, like ripped the fucking paper out of the speakers, all this shit, and bent them and did all this stuff and used the speaker frames as a propeller to fucking get it back.
Yeah.
To get back.
Didn't you have didn't your windows go up or down, or your car started with a
my
light
God.
switch or something?
No,
my
that was
car-
Courtney.
No,
That
it was
was
mine.
Oh, was it?
No, Courtney, he
Courtney had this-
MacGyvered
with the light
Courtney's
switch.
card
The ignition.
He did Courtney's car where she had to start her car with a screwdriver under the hood anytime she had to start it.
Yeah.
No, all my interior
And
lights went out in my
answer to
car.
that was just leave it. She's like, "What am I supposed to do when I'm hanging out and stuff?" He's like, "Just leave it running."
It'll be all right. If you want to get back, you'll leave it running.
Just leave it running.
all the interior lights went out in my car, and I called him and I'm like, Dad, you gotta fix this. He's like, all right, we'll fix it. He MacGyvered it. He put a fucking light switch in my car. I'm not even kidding.
Light switch.
I had a house light switch inside my car that turned my interior lights on. It was on my driver's side door. Just an interior light switch I just flick on.
And when you got fancy, you could get the dimmer and dim it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Kaylin too. Kaylin's car when she had that
The Cavalier, yeah.
The key snapped off in the ignition, so she's like, "I can't get the key out." It broke off. He's like, "Oh, you don't need that."
You don't need that
button
fucking
under
thing.
her dashboard, so she just gets in her car and presses. Like, you know, the remote starts now. You just get in cars. Yeah, this was fucking 20 years ago.
Yeah.
She had a
He invented the remote
She's got a
start.
fucking button from fucking Radio Shack. That you just pressed it and the car started up. He took off.
Yeah.
Please.
He's like,
In an
"Just
87 Chevy Cavalier.
Please, I remember I got like a speeding ticket, and I was only like 17, so I had to bring a parent with me to traffic court, and this was my second one. And I'm like, Dad, I need you to come with me to traffic court. He's like,
Jesus.
He's like, oh, I really have to work. But this was the second one he went to, so he's like, they don't even know if I'm there. He's like, I'll just give you a check. Just fill it out and tell me how much it is, because we all know he didn't believe in banks.
No.
He's like, let me know how much it is. So I'm like, okay, no one asked if my parent was there. I just wrote out the check and paid it. Well, the check bounced. So now I get a letter in the mail. There's a warrant out for both of our arrests. I'm 17 years old. There's a warrant out for my arrest. I called him crying. I was bawling. I'm like, there's a warrant out for both of our arrests. He's like, all right, don't worry. He's like, Daddy will take care of it. He's like, just call them and ask them if they're going to redeposit that check or if they want me to write them a new one. But tell them not to do it till Friday. So I'm like, all right. All right. I call them, but I forgot to tell them to not deposit it till Friday. So it bounced again. Now there's like double warrants out for our arrest. Both of us. We're both fucked. He's like, why didn't you tell them? He's like, Daddy doesn't believe in banks.
You know whose fault this is,
Oh,
right?
it was absolutely my fault. Yeah. No,
Right.
on the first trip to traffic court, Tupac came on in the car, and I don't know if you know this about Ray Cabral, but he loved Tupac.
Yeah.
In
He
NWA.
loved Tupac. He's blaring it. We're in Providence. I'm like, please stop. I'm only 16 and you're 5'5". I'm like, we're gonna get killed out here. Please stop blaring Tupac. He's screaming changes in our car. I'm like, oh my God, why?
I remember going to his house. Now, I can say this because it's not happening right now, but I remember going to his house, and I'm like, hey, Ray, he's sleeping. Fiberglass to the fucking waterbed that he had with no sheets on it. Now, if you
Never
know,
sheet
With
on the bed,
100
ever.
patches on it.
if you don't have, if your waterbed doesn't have a heater on it or a sheet, you can die in the middle of the night from hypothermia because the water will sap the fucking heat right out of your body. No, I just walk in his house. He's like, yeah, stop.
Stop it.
Stop. That's not true.
That's nonsense.
Yeah, it's not. I walk in there, he's pale white. Right? He's fucking stuck. His hair is stuck to the. His hair is stuck to the fucking mattress.
Waterbed was a fucking block of ice.
I'm like, Ray. No, his hair was stuck to it because he laid down with fiberglass resin in his hair, which immediately fused to the fucking mattress. Right?
Because that's normal.
So I'm like, Ray.
For him, it was.
Ray,
Yeah.
Ray, get up. I can't. I'm tired. He had been fishing for 3 days, and he would do 3-day trips. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like, Ray, get up. No, it's you just go in the top drawer. I open the top drawer. There is fucking thousands upon thousands of dollars in his top drawer.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah, I just open. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It was like fucking Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, not that one. Shut that.
Shut that one.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Right? But then you go to his house the next day. Fucking front door is wide open.
Yeah, I know. With leaves like in the kitchen and shit.
And where's Ray? Oh, he's on another 3-day fishing trip.
Yeah.
His front door is open.
All the time.
Not unlocked open.
No, open.
Fucking open.
Open.
With $10,000 in
Not
the
even
fucking
a
bureau.
jar.
Yeah.
Open.
Like open to a point where one day I'm sitting on the couch and I put my hand in the couch. He's like, "Oh, don't put your hands in there. Squirrels in there."
Yeah, there's a raccoon in there.
Yep.
Like what? Yeah, squirrels. They're living in that couch. That's cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Fucking love him.
God.
Love him to death.
Please,
All right.
he never ever got mad at Matt and I ever. I mean, it took a lot. And Matt and I used to do cannonballs off of his dresser onto his waterbed. All the cannonballs. He's like, guys, please stop. He's like, guys, there's so many leaks in the bed. You guys are just popping holes in the sink. Please stop. I mean, for like 3 days.
Laughing at him.
Guys, we're like, like,
Still doing cannonballs.
we're like, fuck you, Dad. We're doing cannonballs on this bed.
off of the dresser.
I woke up wet.
Oh, all the time. We woke up wet until he finally fucking flipped.
That was the
one time.
That was the maddest I've ever seen him. Ever. He had a bench pressing weight, right? Like with like the 50-pound bar.
Yeah.
And then he had like maybe like 50 pounds of weight on it. And he's like, please stop, guys. And we were like, fuck you, Dad. You know what I mean? We were like doing cannonballs off the bureau onto the fucking waterbed that already
All the
had
time.
35 fucking patches in it. And he's like, please stop. We're like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, no. And he takes the fucking bench pressing thing and he throws it through the closet door. The closet door was like woodite. It disintegrated into a billion pieces as soon as he threw it through the door. When I tell you, me and Rayan sat up straight up like, no
Oh,
problem,
no. We're
no
like-
problem, Dad. Okay, sorry.
We'll stop. We're so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
All right. You know what? I am the one guy at this table that's not in this family. But I actually want to be the first one to raise a glass. We've done this a lot of times on this show, but I can't tell you how much I love and respect your father. So can we do this in the middle?
In the middle.
I think the only way to toast
Ray.
Ray is to say, "Why, Ray?
Why, Ray?
Why, Ray?"
Whose fault is it really? He couldn't be trusted.
I sat back for an hour and
Yeah,
didn't say a word.
Yeah.
And that is not...
best hour we've ever done.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
But you
I
know
have
what?
nothing. I have nothing. I have nothing.
I mean, when I grew up, my heroes in this order were my dad, Emmett Smith, and Troy Aikman. Those were like my dad. Like honestly,
What a real drop-off right there.
That declined quickly.
I was a big Dallas Cowboys fan in the '90s. But like, I mean, I would just when my dad was working on the boat at State Street, I would just have these old guys that just always congregated around the dock.
around him. They knew
Yeah.
he was.
And they would come up to me and be like, you know, your dad's a fucking legend, right? And when you're young, you don't
I
really
told-
get
yeah,
it.
fuck him.
Yeah, you're like,
I
yeah,
told
whatever.
you-
He's just my dad.
I
you
went.
know?
I was with my father-in-law, and we were going on a fishing trip, cod fishing trip, and we went to Cape Cod. We left from my Hyannis, and we were leaving. We were out on the boat. We were out there. We were probably about 6-7 hours in, and I'm talking to the captain of the boat. And I was like, yeah, I was like, my uncle tuna fish is out here. He's like, oh, really? And he, like, kind of like give me that, like, oh, really? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Who's your uncle? And I said, Ray Cabral, Python. And he goes, what?
Yeah.
The guy's like stopped. He's like, that's your uncle? He's like, Raker, bro. I'm like, yeah. He goes, dude, let me tell you something. Nobody leaves that dock until he does.
Yeah.
That's what they said. They said nobody. And he goes, and I've watched him leave in weather that people would not leave in.
Yeah.
And everybody follows him because they know the fish are coming. And that was that was like, as fucked up as he was and the crazy shit that he did.
Yeah.
That was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
He was a good guy.
They knew what. Yeah. And that was the other thing too. He said, "Oh, he's the most helpful guy in the world. He'd help."
He would help anybody.
Anybody. Yeah, except me. Bring me fucking
Except for you.
refrigerators.
Except you.
Cars full of
But
hornets.
it still happens.
Yeah. Hey, go clean that bumper. Hornets. Like, thanks, Ray.
It still happens after 13 years, though. You know, even at your 3rd of July party, that guy that you had there, I don't remember his name.
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, yes.
When he was
He
like,
knew your uncle
he
very
was
well.
like, I knew your dad. And like, I mean, the people that knew him were like, he was
Loved
the most
him.
genuine guy.
Yeah.
He was a cool guy.
Yep.
And even 13 years later, it's cool to hear.
Joe Cody. That was Joe Cody.
Yeah.
He was blown away that you were his daughter. He was like, "What? Oh my god."
Why? Because I was clean?
Because you didn't have resin in your hair.
Yeah.
You don't have a codfish behind your ear?
All the wildlife is still outside.
Yeah.
No,
There wasn't something fiberglass to you.
yeah. I've always loved Ray stories. I never met the man, and I said this about almost a month ago, that I've never met him, but I feel like I know him. And Brad kind of had that sentiment a few minutes ago. Like, I joke about Ray like I knew him or know him, and like Rayanne can speak for it. Like I always joke like, oh yeah, he would bust my balls on this that. We all know he'd fucking hate me, but
Yeah, he would. He definitely would.
But like he's a guy, and Craig, I think you kind of hit on it. Like his reputation, and I don't want to use the word legend, but he's kind of there in these parts. Like
No,
That's-
he's there.
that's never gonna change. Like that's something he said. Like Ray Cabral has his thing. It was
There's-
Ray. You know what I
There's
mean? Like
people to this day that I
Still-
recognize that I haven't seen in years,
yeah,
and they're like, and I see them, and I know who they are, and they don't recognize me because I was really young, and then I'm like, hey, you know, oh, you don't recognize Ray Cabral's nephew, you know, and they're like, oh my god, and then they remember me, and then immediately they're like, oh, young Ray, best guy I ever met,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, he was a cool guy.
He's a guy that reputation and those will never change.
No.
Right? It's so now I'm bringing this up because we do have to we are doing a show. We have to kind of wrap it up at some point.
yeah,
we
we
could
do.
Brad and I have talked about this before. We could sit and listen to Ray stories
No,
for
all night.
days.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, there's
For
so
days.
many.
And I know he will second this, but you two, Matt and Rand, you guys come back anytime and talk Ray stories.
Yeah.
As long as you want. That could be 3 episodes. We don't even care.
yeah, exactly.
But at some point, we're going to wrap this up because people are going to be like, all right,
That's enough.
I got to go to
That's
sleep.
enough. That's enough for Ray.
There's only so much Ray you can take from what I've heard anyway.
You can take little bits at a time. Yeah.
Right? But there are things that we've talked about lately. We identified this week. There are some reputations that people that, I don't want to say people, but institutions had that may be a little different moving forward.
Yes.
One of those being Death Row Records.
Yep.
You mentioned Tupac earlier.
Oh
Yep.
man, I love Tupac.
So Tupac was got a little involved with Death Row and that kind of East Coast West Coast bullshit for a while
Death
back in the
Row's so
90s,
cool.
right?
A little involved.
So Death Row Records is back in the news because they've been recently purchased by Hasbro.
Mr.
Yep.
Potato Head.
Yep.
Hasbro.
Mr. Potato Head owns Death Row.
We thought it might be fun to make this our roundup for the week and think about, now that Hasbro's acquired Death Row Records, what kind of singles are they going to be putting out in the coming months or years?
Hell yeah.
So, Craig, we'll throw it to you to start us
Actually,
off.
Dave, can I just throw
Yeah,
you
jump right in.
just real quick? Word life.
What?
Word.
Right?
Word. True that. True that.
Man,
But
I
I
love
think-
that game.
If Hasbro's gonna start spinning fucking Death Row Record shit,
Yep.
I'm gonna say Teddy Ruck spin that shit.
Straight out of Idaho.
Yeah.
I had a Teddy Ruxpin as a kid. I put a cassette in of me just saying, you know what, your mom is wrong, listen to me. Your mom is wrong, listen to me. And that fucking thing with its mouth went wah, 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 and repeated everything I said. My little sister has not forgiven me.
See, I was thinking they'd put out the Cabbage Patch Killers.
I was thinking nothing but
Gat sold separately.
Yeah.
I felt like hitting nothing but a G.I. Joe thing.
I was thinking kilo puppies.
Yeah.
How about where my pound puppies at?
Yeah. Banging Barbie from the back.
I thought it'd be funny to go 99 problems, 15 missing parts.
I was thinking, My Little Pony, licking my balls.
Bitch.
How about the Easy Baked Oven?
Yeah.
Let me ride Hot Wheels.
Skeet ball.
How to roll Play-Doh.
Fight the Power Rangers.
Hungry hip hop hoes.
I'm looking forward to a nigga with a super soaker.
Dave, you didn't.
I did.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
he did.
Yeah, he went there.
He has one more before EJ flies back and punches him.
No, he just said it.
EJ's close.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to throw out one more, and then I'm going to duck and hide.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Mo Little Pony, Mo Problems.
And my last one is Weebles wobbles, but those bitches keep staying up.
I think that's a good one to end on, my
Yeah.
friend. Absolutely. Oh, well done.
All right. You know what? I couldn't think of a better way to end this fucking episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this, it's because I haven't been talking. And that's a good fucking thing. I want to thank both Rayanne and Matt for being here tonight.
Absolutely.
This was going to be a random episode, and this turned into an amazing episode.
Yep.
And I want to thank you both for being honest and for sharing your stories and for keeping it real for everybody here. So thank you for that. This was a great time. Also, I want to thank everybody that's still here from last week.
So Joey and Wayne.
Yep.
And the rest of the Aryan Nation from that 7 minutes from episode 100.
Oh, my God.
All right,
He's
let's
all
do a
right.
little housekeeping. You can find us on Twitter at NTS_podcast. Find us on Facebook at NTS_podcast. Find us on Instagram at all lowercase, needless to say, podcast.
And we'd like to thank our sponsor, Endeavor Podcast Solutions, at EndeavorPodcastSolutions.com. Check them out. They're awesome.
All right, so if you like the show, tell your friends. If you like it a real lot, buy our stuff. You can check us out at represent.com/store/NTS podcast. There's a bunch of stuff there. I'm sure we'll be adding new stuff in the future, but go ahead on there and buy your stuff.
Uncle Ray would steal it.
All right. Anybody got anything else?
Needless to say,
We said it.